1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's that one hard to right. Back goes Taylor. Looking up. See ya! Jose Ramirez. His 11th home run of the season. 2-0 Guardians on a blast to right for Jose.
Well, Jose sitting in the hitter's count, and he was looking in his zone and got one. And he does what he usually does with a fastball right there. Hits it out of the ballpark and gives him a 1-0 lead or 2-0 lead.
The man is a machine.
Scottie Scheffler, the repeat champion at Jack's event.
And with that, we welcome you into the Sam Bourquin Show. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy sunshine. Happy June 2nd. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome in. 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world at AM 1310, WDPN.com. Shout out to those of you that are listening and watching right now on the Q92 Radio Facebook page or the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Welcome in, everybody. Sam Bourquin here and Ryan Rainsberg over there. We are in the midst of a fantastic weather day, and it's going to keep on keeping on. I don't think we're supposed to get any rain, knock, knock, until maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. But get out and enjoy the weather. The next couple of days are going to be fantastic. We're going to be in the low 80s. And finally, we're starting to be able to enjoy some of the great weather here in the area. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. We've got a lot to get to, as we usually do on a Monday, as we kind of wrap up the sports weekend. Guardians are, I was going to say they're on their way, but they have landed in the Big Apple to get ready for a big series with the Yankees coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. High school baseball and softball. I'll tell you what, we've got some teams alive. Congratulations. Shout out to the North Canton baseball team, North Canton Hoover baseball, Glen Oak baseball, Central Catholic baseball. All have moved in to the regional semifinals coming up a little bit later on this week. Congratulations to Perry and Jackson softball. Both those teams are in the state finals, the OHSAA Final Four in softball. Congratulations to the Lady Bears and the Panthers. Matter of fact, we're going to catch up with Coach Daugherty from Perry coming up here this afternoon, and we're going to catch up with Coach Parker from Jackson today. Matter of fact, Coach Doc is going to join us at about 3:35 this afternoon. Adam Parker from Jackson will be coming on at around 5:40. In between that, we've got Al Palowski from Cleveland Guardians Game Day host, and he will be joining us at 4:35 to talk a little Guards baseball. Did you see what Al did over the weekend? We actually have the audio of that. I'm going to see if my guy Ryan Rainsberg could pull that up. Over the weekend at Progressive Field, the Guardians were taking on the Angels, and Al was calling TV this weekend because Matty Underwood has been off. He'll be back calling the games for CLE Guardians TV next, actually starting tomorrow in New York. But Al was up in the booth with Rick Manning, and he was flashing some leather over the weekend.
We got Mr. Al Palowski up here. This is last night in the TV booth. Look at Arch. Hold on. First of all, Gold Glove center fielder right there. Getting out of the way of the ball. Al's calling him off. What do we got on this? Fundamentals of this play?
He stuck with it the whole time. Arch wanted no part of that. He wanted
Literally none.
No.
Give Al some credit, man. Two-handed
those
catch,
glasses, yeah.
eyes on the ball right there the whole time. Hey, I guess, Al, pitchers can be athletes too. We got
How about that? Al caught a foul ball while he was doing the game on TV. We'll ask him all about that. We'll talk some Guardians baseball coming up at 4:35. Did you happen to watch the the golf tournament this weekend. Jack Nicklaus's event down in Muirfield, the Memorial. Holy cow. How good is Scottie Scheffler right now? He is absolutely on another planet when it comes to playing golf. He's won, what, $10 million like over the last month? he's just absolutely killing it. He won the Memorial over the weekend, and I saw there was a photo I found it on X, I believe, and I reposted it on Facebook. Did you see this? Scottie Scheffler on the PGA Tour. Scottie Scheffler had as many wins in the month of May than the Colorado Rockies baseball team. Yep. Rockies won 3 games the entire month of May. Scottie Scheffler won 3 golf tournaments. And he finished up with Jack's tournament down at Muirfield over the weekend. And he is by far, the best player on the tour. I mean, don't even look at the leaderboard with him, like on Thursday or Friday. By Saturday at about 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, he's there. And he is on his way to winning a tournament. He is just playing some fantastic golf. So shout out to Scottie Scheffler. And, I mean, heck, what do we got? We got the British Open coming up here. I believe that's in July. I don't know if let's see. We had the Masters. We had the PGA. We'll have the British Open. Oh, the U.S. Open. We got the U.S. Open. So 2 more majors to go. Yeah, why not? He'll probably win both of those 2. I mean, he is really playing good golf. College baseball over the weekend. Now, we had a couple of teams from Ohio that really, really made things interesting. But Miami of Ohio and Wright State just came up a little bit short in the regionals over the weekend. Miami put a scare in to their opponent. Wright State put a scare in, but they just couldn't get out. But a great season by Wright State and Miami of Ohio. But still, did you see some of the Oklahoma State with a crazy walk-off? Little Rock knocked off LSU. UTSA, Texas San Antonio, the Roadrunners knocked Texas out. They knocked them out. And UTSA is going to the Super Regionals for the first time. Crazy stuff going on in college baseball. We'll replay some of those highlights coming up a little bit later on. But that was nuts. I was hoping that Miami or Wright State would get to the next level, but they just couldn't get there. But great seasons by the Red Hawks and the Raiders nonetheless. Hey, our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day today. You can check it out on X, AM 1310 WDPN, or on Facebook. Who's the best pet? Who are the best pets? A, cats. B, fish. C, dogs. Or D, rabbits. What do you like there? What's your favorite kind of pet? What do you have at home? You have a cat? You have a dog? Rabbit? Fish? What do you like most about them? What's the best kind of pet to have? I've mentioned before I'm a dog person, but we have 4 cats. Well, we're down to 3. But if I could swindle the missus into letting us have a dog. So far, we're striking out, but I'm not giving up the fight. Just like I'm not giving up the fight to have a pool installed. I've been fighting that battle for almost 20 years. I'm not going away. I'm like a gnat on a hot, humid summer day. I'm not going away. I'm gonna keep on asking. But that's our poll question today. Which are the best pets? Cats, dogs, rabbits, or maybe you got some fish. Maybe you got a cool aquarium. You got some puffer fish, some goldfish floating around in there. What's your favorite pet? What do you got? Let us know here on all of our social media platforms. Mr. Rainsberg, how was your weekend,
Sam.
man? How'd it go for you? What'd you do?
It was good. We played some Dungeons and Dragons this weekend. So
My God.
it was
Man.
no, it was a monumental weekend. This campaign
It certainly sounds like it.
This last campaign was 2 years in the making, so it was a good weekend.
Okay. Okay. Did you go anywhere? Or?
Yeah. I went and played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. I thought you okay.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
It's an in-person thing, man.
Highlight of the weekend. Oh,
hey,
my goodness.
You went to high school with plenty of people who played Dungeons and Dragons.
I did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a thing since the 70s.
Well, I graduated in 88.
Yep.
I you know what? If anybody was playing Dungeons and Dragons, I wouldn't have known.
Oh, you definitely wouldn't have known, but
no,
people did back then. So,
Dungeons and now is that's not a video game, right?
No, it's a tabletop.
This is
game.
like a tabletop game.
Yeah, it's closer to like Monopoly. It's a board
isn't it like a really it's involved, right?
Oh yeah,
you got to set up. I'm just going on what I've seen.
It's a lot of
it's a lot of setting up and
a lot of math,
boards, and
a lot of numbers.
Okay,
yeah, it's more about calculating numbers for damage and stuff.
Huh.
I won't bore you. If I get too in depth, it will just be boring.
Well, it's not that I'm bored with it. It's I'm confused.
No, that's fair.
Because you said math and figuring out. That
okay.
Just throws me way out.
I could try to make this simple for you.
Yeah, make it as like you're talking to a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're playing a video game and you're gonna punch a character in the face, when you do that, the character has a total amount of health, which is a number, and then your punch does a total amount of damage, which is also a number removed from their health. So D&D is a lot of rolling dice to figure out how much damage you're doing to enemies. So it's a lot of math because it's like, oh, you roll these dice and then you add this number to total out your damage.
How many die are in this game total? Just 2?
Or
does it get a little crazy?
No, there's up to let's see, I can never remember the top of my head. There's a D 4, 6, 8, 12, 20 and percentiles, which is 100. So there's all those dice, and then sometimes you're rolling 3 or 4 or 5 dice when you're higher levels. So the numbers can get pretty big. So
yeah, that's above my pay grade there.
It's math. I like math.
Yeah, I'm out on the math.
Yeah, it's math and role playing. I like acting and math.
All right, well, I asked and I got my answer.
You got your answer.
So there you go. My man was R&R was doing D&D.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. Getting some funny comments on our poll question today. Which make the best pets? Cats, dogs, rabbits, or fish? Bill says fish. They don't eat much. Don't need a litter box. You don't need to walk them. Okay. Pam says this cat lady says cats. Eric Harkins is in with cats. Tony Ramos, dogs. Jason Johnson says dogs. Missy Davis, I thought this was kind of funny. She says, I have a dog, a cat, a rabbit who thinks he's a cat, litter trained and all, and I've had fish. A cat has been the easiest so far. Jeff Haas, dogs all the way. Doug Craddock, Doug, hope you're doing well. He said, this is easy. Dogs, much more personality, especially rescued pups. So he's a dog guy all the way. Let me know, what's your favorite pet? Cats, dogs, fish, rabbits? That's our Sam Bourquin poll question today, AM 1310 WDPN on X. You can check me out on my Facebook page as well, and we can play along there. When I was a wee lad, and I mean probably like 1 or 2, before my parents moved us from Lisbon. Yeah, I lived in Lisbon for about 6 months, to Canton. We had this beautiful Irish setter, and her name was Amber. Just a beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. But after we moved from Lisbon, I can't believe I lived in Lisbon. I'm shaking my head just telling this story because I don't have any recollections because I was just a baby at the time. But I guess this was all hearsay. I guess we were on a farm and we had, goats and a dog and chickens and what the hell. But anyway, so my parents thought it would probably be best to move to Canton because both of them were working there. My dad was in the car business, and my mom, she worked at the old Ohio Bell down on Cleveland Avenue in downtown Canton. So I guess the drive and now you've got two kids. Then my sister was born about a year and a half after me. So they packed up and we moved to Canton. I remember we had Amber in our first place, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if she passed or I think she was getting pretty old. She's like 15 or 16 years old. So that I very, very few memories of her, but I do have some pictures of her. So lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of time goes by. We had no pets. And then we moved. We lived in the townhouses off of Fulton Road over there, Inglewood, Heritage and Inglewood, if you're familiar with that, over there by what's that place called? Mr. Mike's Catering. We lived across the street there. So we moved from there to Lakeside. It was our first house. And we had no pets there forever. And then this one day, my mom went to visit a friend of hers. I don't think they would mind if I said who it was. It was Linda Kuhn. And she had a ton of dogs. They were sheepdogs. Big sheepdogs. Well, she had come home later that night and said, "Hey, I was over seeing Linda, and she wants you and your sister to come over and come over and see the dogs." Okay, cool. So we went over, and by God, we left with two of them. We left with two sheepdogs, and one was called Muffin, and one was Murphy. And those were our two pets. And so we brought them home. And they loved to run. I mean, they loved to run. And it probably wasn't ideal. We had a pretty decent-sized backyard. But if they ever went out the front, forget it. I mean, they were gone. And they would just run and run. You didn't know if they were ever going to come back again. So we had them for a couple of years. And we were able to keep them, pretty much in the back. We had a gate and everything. Well, one New Year's Day, I think this must have been... oh gosh, I don't know, 80 maybe 70. No, it was probably 80 or 81. And we let Muffin out and she never came back. She never came back home. And then Murphy started to get real aggressive. Again, sheepdogs, probably not best to be on a house on a busy street in a kind of, small area, so to speak. And he was getting real aggressive. And we finally had to give him to somebody else so they could, take care of him and give him proper room to run around and stuff like that. But yeah, this one day I was down in the basement and I was watching TV, and it was a rainy day, and I was downstairs watching TV and kind of fell asleep. Well, Murphy came down and kind of laid next to me. And all of a sudden I feel this gnawing at my head. He was biting my head while I was trying to sleep, half asleep, half watching TV. He's biting me in the head. I'm like, whoa, what is this? I start to, hey, easy, boy, easy. Try to pet him a little bit, and he was getting all fired up. And then a couple of weeks later, we had to ship him out to somebody else. But that was it. I have not had a dog since. And ever since, it's been cats. And we've had, since we had our house, we've probably had 7 or 8. And at certain points, we've had 3. Sometimes we've had 4. A couple have passed, so we're down to 3 now. Rumor has it we're in the market for another one. for a kitten. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number. 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. It is the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN. Don't forget, we're going to talk some Perry softball with Coach Daugherty coming up at 3:35 today. We'll talk Guardians baseball from CLE Guardians TV. Al Palowski will check in at 4:35. And then we'll talk some Jackson High School baseball at 5:40 today with the head coach of the Bears. And, of course, that is Adam Parker. Now, we will attempt to talk to the baseball coaches at Central, Dan Mazzarelli, Ray Frisbee, Glen Oak, Brian Ashby Hoover, Billy Gamble, Jackson, coming up maybe tomorrow. I'll have to see what their schedules are. They've got regional play coming up. I know Central's playing Green today at 5 o'clock. I have to check in with the other fellows and see what their schedules are so we can talk to them. And, hey, I can't remember a time here in the last decade where we've had 4 baseball teams and 2 softball teams still rocking here early in June, like at the same time. We got 2 softball teams in the state tournament in Akron coming up. We've got 4 baseball teams in the regionals. So, hey, let's go win them all. Why not? Why not? All right, let's take a break. News and weather coming up here at the bottom of the hour. On the other side, we'll check in with Coach Scott Daugherty, the Perry softball team. That and a whole bunch more coming up on this beautiful Monday here in the Carnation City of Alliance. Stay with us, everybody. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Some relief today for Newark Liberty International Airport. The facility has been plagued by communication blackouts, flight controller shortages, and a third runway that was shut down for several weeks because of repairs. All those problems forced the Federal Aviation Administration to reduce the number of landings and takeoffs, but the runway has reopened today, 2 weeks ahead of schedule. ABC's Jaysha Patel is in New Jersey.
It's been completely shut down since April 15th because of a $121 million project. That work included repaving the runway, and during that closure, the Port Authority works with airlines to actually reduce flights during construction. So only 56 flights have been taking off and landing per hour here at Newark, but when construction ends, that number is expected to increase.
A 45-year-old man launched a fiery attack on demonstrators in Colorado who were calling for the release of Israeli hostages in Gaza, injuring 8 of them. Authorities say Mohammed Solomon made a makeshift flamethrower and hurled an incendiary device into the crowd in Boulder Sunday night. Officials say the suspect yelled "Free Palestine" as he launched what the FBI has called a targeted terror attack. Solomon was charged today with a federal hate crime and made an initial court appearance. In a surprise attack, Ukraine snuck in truckloads of drones across enemy lines, blowing up military air bases inside Russia. The coordinated drone strike hit at least 4 locations, crippling nuclear-capable bombers. The attack comes as delegations from Russia and Ukraine met in Turkey for the second round of peace talks. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge has more.
These drones smuggled deep inside Russia. Air bases attacked right across the country, from the northwest right across to the far east in Siberia. The drones smuggled in containers, and then Ukraine apparently having the ability to automatically lift the roof off these containers, and inside were dozens of drones packed in, charged with explosives, then the drones flying off and hurtling into these strategic bombers on the ground.
A split Supreme Court has rejected a pair of gun rights cases, though one conservative justice predicts the court will soon consider whether assault weapons bans are constitutional. The majority did not explain its reasoning in turning down the cases over high-capacity magazines and guns like the AR-15, which are popular weapons that also have been used in mass shootings. Justice Brett Kavanaugh indicated today he's skeptical that the bans are constitutional and said he expects the court to return to the issue soon. The decisions in cases from Maryland and Rhode Island comes 3 years after the High Court handed down a landmark ruling that expanded Second Amendment rights. It's 73 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance area weather forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly sunny skies for this Monday afternoon, a high around 72. Tonight, partly cloudy, temperatures will fall to near 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high around 80. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Are you looking to send flowers to someone special? Let DeHoff's Flowers Greenhouse and Landscaping take the hassle out of this beautiful gesture for you. When you order online through national flower dealers, you lose 20 to 30% of your money because it goes to the middleman. Get more bloom for your buck and order from DeHoff's. They'll deliver. It's true, when you skip the middleman, all your money goes towards the flowers, and that makes everyone happy. Well, except the middleman. Locally owned and operated, the experts at DeHoff's have over 61 years of professional knowledge and experience, and they'll be happy to design the perfect arrangement for all the events in your life. So remember, DeHoffs.com, and you'll always get more bloom for your buck. In Alliance on the corner of Beach and Beechwood, you can order by phone too at 330-823-1455.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back here on the program. Welcome back, everybody. Just a beautiful day. Hope you're out and about enjoying it. And while you're doing that, make sure you take us with you. You can catch us on all of our social media platforms on X, AM 1310 WDPN, our WDPN Facebook page, of course, the Q92 Radio Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Phones are open. Well, they will be shortly. 330-821-1310. You can always text the program. Good way to communicate with us as well and interact with us here on the program. 330-924-7088. Guardians off today. They'll be in New York to take on the Yankees. We'll talk to Al Palowski from Cleveland Guardians TV coming up at 4:35 today. 5:40, it will be Adam Parker, the head softball coach of Jackson, coming your way here on 1310 WDPN. Now it's time to talk a little Perry Panther softball. It's Cinderella slipper wearing time again in the PTL. Let's bring on Scott Daugherty, head coach of the Perry Panther softball team. Coach Doc, good afternoon. How's it going for you this afternoon?
Sam, it's going great, man. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, anytime, brother. Anytime. Congratulations. The train is still moving. A 3-2 win over Green, and now you're in the Final Four. You'll take on Riverside coming up here on June the 7th. Boy, what a year, man. A tough start, and what got this team going? Was it a certain win or two, a practice? What happened?
So the players are making fun of me. When we were 4-11, that was our record at the tournament draw. We got the 16 seed, and we sat down and had a talk. I'm like, look, you guys are potentially on pace to be the worst team in 47 years of Perry softball history, but you could also be one of 8 teams to win a district title. Like, I do believe that to be true as well, and the outcomes were vast, and not that talk did it. But they keep telling me I told them they were the worst team in softball. That is not true. But we had a potential to be. But then we went on a little run where we knocked off Jackson, Hoover, and Green back to back in the Federal League. And that is where I started to see our confidence start to turn. So those were games. I remember Jackson was April 23rd. And then we played in early May back to back Hoover, Green, and we knocked off both of those. And that's where I felt things started to turn.
And turn they did. And then you're on a heater now. You beat Avon, doubleheader with North Royalton, of course, Amherst Steel, and then Green. So that's 5 in a row there. But I mean, was it pitching, hitting, a combination of both, or was it just the girls said,
Yeah,
"Hey, you know what? Coach might be onto something. We can win a district title. We can maybe go win a regional." What happened?
Yeah, early in the year, like maybe to your point, we talked about pitching, hitting, defense, and we had a lot of games where we didn't have any three of those categories come through for us. And recently, we've been playing really good defense. We had one error against Green, and that hurt us for a run. We didn't have any against North Royalton, so we've really been playing clean defensively. I didn't realize this till after the game. Anna Keller, our freshman pitcher, threw an immaculate inning against Green in the first inning. 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 strikeouts.
Wow, that's awesome.
She was not a strikeout pitcher the entire year. She's really not. She struck out 70 in 120 regular season innings,
Mm-hmm.
and then she racked up 13 on Friday night in the regional final. Came out of nowhere. Hitting wise, we only had 5 hits, but we did a lot of little things well that led to runs for us, and we scored early. We put up 2 runs in the first inning, and we've just been battling much better. Allie Dennis had 2 at-bats with 10-plus pitches. Like, she saw like 23 pitches and 2 at-bats. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't even know that they resulted in hits, but we're battling, and we're doing really good things.
You know, Green had won 20 games, I believe, when you guys beat him 3-2 in a tough, tight game. And most of your games, I was looking down the schedule, whether it was a win or even a couple of losses, not a lot of crazy blowouts either side of the ledger, Coach. And that's got to help pay dividends here when things are really tight, everything is amplified, every pitch you're on the edge of your seat. That's had to have been a big help to you, hasn't it?
Yeah, so the week before the tournament started, we went up to Berea Mid-Park. They were the 9th-ranked team in Division I, and we had the lead the whole game, and then we blew it in the bottom of the 7th inning. We lost 4-3, and then later that week, we got walked off by Hillsdale, who also won a district title. We were up 2-0 the whole game, and then in the bottom of the 7th, we gave it up and lost 3-2. And it, like you're saying, you know, there were games early in our year where we did get blown out. We got run ruled by Walsh Jesuit, Warren Champion, and Lake back to back to back, right? We didn't even make it to the 6th inning. These were 5-inning games, and we weren't real competitive. And then these games, we were right there. And I just kind of talked to our players like, you know, you guys realize you're putting yourselves in position to be successful. And we weren't always successful, but we were putting ourselves in the position to be. And then in the tournament run, we you know, where we kind of folded and under the pressure a little earlier, we haven't lately.
Also, as I look back, and you mentioned those two games, the Berea Mid-Park 4-3 loss, your next game you come back, you beat Field. That tough loss to Hillsdale, very next game, you come back, you beat Avon. It looks like you got a resilient bunch there.
They are, and they have come as far as any team I've ever coached. If you go back to the first day of tryouts on President's Day in February till now, we're not the most talented team I've had, but they have come the furthest for sure.
We are talking with Scott Daugherty, a head softball coach, longtime softball coach at Perry. The Panthers are still dancing. They will play June 7th, 10 a.m., I believe, against Riverside at Firestone up in Akron. That is a state semifinal. I got to ask you, Coach, talk about some of the young ladies that have really been playing with everything they've got here, especially late year and then into the tournament run.
All right, I hope you got a lot of time.
Go for it, man. You're on the big stage today. Hit it.
Look, I'll probably start with Allie Dennis at third base. She's never played third base. She's a sophomore. She's never lettered. And we put her at third at the beginning of the year, and she was real tentative. I remember a game at Jackson. We lost 5-1 where they laid down a bunt, and she comes charging in and literally runs our catcher over. And Amelia Bonk's trying to field the ball and throw to first, and Allie runs her over. I went back and I watched our film at North Ridgeville. There's a pop-up to her, and she drops it. It was a real learning curve. Well, she leads our team in hitting. She's the player we said saw 23 pitches the other night and 2 at-bats. Hasn't made an error in over a month. She has really solidified us there, and she's our 4-hitter. We got a freshman catcher, Amelia Bonk. I mean, she's unbelievable. she, we call the games, but she and Anna Keller have just been on the same page. I mean, they're chest bumping after every inning. They're excited. She is third on our team in hitting. She hits third in our lineup. She is just such a tough out. Lacey Zapatachny, our second baseman, she's third on our team in hitting. She's done a great job at second base. Delaney Dietrich leads our team in on-base percentage. She's going to West Liberty in the fall. That's where Riverside's pitcher is going as well. They're actually going to be roommates in the fall at West Lib. But Delaney's she's been awesome lately. Had 3 hits against Green. Started us off Friday night with a double against Green and scored our first run. Caitlin Bing, our 5-hitter, is second on our team in RBIs, and I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Aubrey Creator has settled in at right field. She didn't start the whole first half of the year. We actually had a right fielder that fell off the bus.
Oh, gee, Christmas.
It hasn't been healthy since.
Boy.
And Aubrey came in and has done a great job. Our 7-hitter's Leanna Turner, and she's just a really crafty player and has played great defense at shortstop. Jocelyn France at first base has given us great leadership out of the position. And then our 9-hitter's a freshman center fielder, Addie Morrison, and she's gotten on base a bunch in the tournament and really played her best softball in the last 2 weeks.
Not to make light of the situation, but I got to ask, how does one fall out of the bus? I mean,
you may have to call Ella Stahl and ask her.
How do you do that?
We get off the bus at Berea Mid Park, and I went to check out the field and the facility, and how do we get in? And Mike Hagee, our assistant coach, starts calling me over to the bus, and I see a player sprawled out on the parking lot on the concrete.
I don't mean to.
I didn't know who it was, and it was her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday! Wow.
Yeah, so I think she missed a step, man. And then she had her backpack on her with all of her softball stuff. And I think just the weight of it all came down and, twisted her ankle. And she was in a walking boot for weeks.
Oh, my Lord.
She's just now starting to get back to softball activities.
Wow. I'm glad she's doing all right. Holy cow. That's unbelievable. Scott Daugherty is our guest.
She's going to hate me for telling that story, by the way, but that's all right.
Well, that's on you, buddy. That's on you. I didn't pull that out of you. So now that you're in the Final Four here, and of course, the Perry Panthers do have a little hardware in that case over there on 13th Street as far as softball state championships are concerned. What do you tell the girls now in preparation, and what can you tell us much about Riverside?
Yeah, so we actually, I'll tell it this way. We played Riverside twice last year. They smoked us in the regular season, 15-4, and then we didn't throw Maddie Elliott, our number 1. So we got to the tournament draw, and everybody wanted to avoid Austin Town Fitch and Sydney Watts last year.
Sure.
So we ended up in a sectional with Riverside, and they beat us 3-0. And they were kind of young. Like they had like 4 freshmen starting. Both of their pitchers were going to be back from last year, and they made it to regionals last year. We knew they were good. So this year, basically their coach reached out like, you guys want to play again and come up here? And I'm like, Bill, it's Bill Ross. I'm like, Bill, I don't know that we can give you much of a game. Like, let's wait a year. So early in March, we got nice weather, and I just reached out to all the Northeast Ohio teams. Like, does anybody want to come to Perry and scrimmage? And Bill's the first guy that contacts me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Bill, I really don't know that we can give you much of a game. He's like, nah, man, we just want to play. And they came down to Perry in March and scrimmaged us, and it might have been 18-0. Anna Keller wasn't pitching then. She had a Lisfranc injury, was in a boot all summer or all winter rather. And, so that's how this started. I mean, we were so green and young. And so they came and they put it on us in March. And I went and watched them Saturday, just up and down their lineup. They're really good 1 through 9. I talked to you about their pitcher. She's going to West Liberty. She's a left-handed pitcher, which I don't think it's as big a deal in softball, but you just don't see him very often.
Right.
She throws about 60 miles an hour, which that's kind of a threshold in high school softball. When you start getting into the 60s, that's a different beast and a different animal to handle. And she's got a nice variety of pitches with a good changeup. So that's going to be a challenge for us. But it's not anything we haven't seen. I mean, Green has a 60-mile-an-hour plus. North Royalton had it. Avon had it. So we've seen this kind of pitching. It's just from the other side. But it's their offense. I mean, they had 19 hits against North Ridgeville on Saturday in their regional final. And they are right where they thought they would be. You know, you could see this Painesville Riverside team building. Went to regionals last year, and I think they're right where they thought they would be.
Well, they gotta put up with the Perry Panthers, so we'll see what happens here coming up here on June the 7th. This time of year is always tournament time. Late May, you get into June. And I know it's hard to read 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, student athletes, whatever. But what's your feel? What's your vibe on this particular team as they get ready for the big stage?
Yeah, so we practiced this morning, and we've been talking for 2 weeks just about the further you get, the more the microscope gets on you, right? Like, no offense, Sam, you didn't have us on 2 months ago, right?
Right. I fell out of the bus. Come on.
2 months ago.
Right.
And now they're starting to get some attention. And I know how Perry people are, man. I'm a Perry guy, and they're going to fill the stadium on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
So we've really had to try to talk to them, even in regionals and districts to some extent, about keeping your focus in between the lines. So I think they've got some benefit. I mean, I have 3 assistant coaches that have over 110 years of softball experience.
Wow.
And we've been to the state tournament 3 times since 2010. And, so as coaches, we've been there before, and these players really have handled the pressure so well in districts and regionals. We had a pretty calm group to begin with, but they've just been so laser focused. We've got to get them to experience the moments a little bit on Saturday morning as the crowd rolls in. I mean, in 21, there were 3,400 people there. There were 2,900 at the state semifinal in 21. So this is, we haven't seen more than a couple hundred people at any of our games. This is going to be a different animal for our players, but we know how to get them ready. And so far, they've handled these moments really well.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Perry sports in general has had an incredible run here this school year. With the basketball team goes to Dayton, the baseball team went really, really far. You guys, and they bounced back from a tough start, and look where they ended. You guys had a tough start. You're in the Final Four. It's great to see, and I said the same thing to Coach Craig with the baseball team, and it almost seems like everything is just kind of bouncing off one another, and everybody is just kind of come together, and it's Perry, it's the PTO, we're all under the umbrella together, and good things are happening. This is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's Craig Whitaker was my assistant for my first 2 years of softball. We go way back, man. We played baseball together at Perry. Coach Bowl and basketball and what they were able to do. Our girls bowling team were runners up. Brent McBurney and Perry wrestling.
Yeah, right,
runners
right.
Up. And Sam, because of the way Perry is, and again, man, I went to Watson Elementary, man. I grew up in Perry. We don't brag about ourselves. So I think a lot of times we go under the radar because we're, you know what I mean? We don't brag about the stuff we do. And I don't know that we promote ourselves all that well, but I do hope our community's taking notice because I know what great kids we have. I teach 10th grade English. I'm in the high school every day, man. I see you there at the high school.
Yeah, I was subbing all year. Yeah.
I hope they were great for you.
Oh, they were.
What we get to see every day, man.
Kids are fantastic.
They are. And I hope more people start to kind of see what we're trying to do and kind of get on board a little earlier. But
yeah.
I told the kids, man, I said, look, a lot of people want to get on the bandwagon now. Let them. Like, don't be mad that they weren't there 2 weeks ago, a month ago. Like, there's room for everybody, man. And we just want to share this with everybody. And we kind of, we want to make our community proud. And I know we have a group of girls that are going to do that. And that's why I want people to see them and just kind of get to be around them a little bit.
Well, there it is. The olive branch has been put out there. June 7th, 10 o'clock, Firestone up at Akron. It's Perry against Riverside State semifinal, and we wish you nothing but the best, Coach. PTO, get out there and get behind these girls and let them hear you up there on Saturday morning. Go get them, Coach. We will be following pitch by pitch.
Thanks, Sam. I appreciate you having me on, man.
You got it. There he goes. Scottie Daugherty, the head softball coach of the Perry Panthers, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. All right, we got to run. We got 6 minutes till the top of the hour. Phone lines are open if you want to get one in here quick. 330-821-1310. We'll be back.
The Canton Greek Fest returns June 5th, 6th, and 7th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. each day, featuring indoor and outdoor dining, the St. Harolumbus Hellenic dancers, cooking demos, kids' playground, wine tasting, drive-through, and so much more. Outdoor dance party on Thursday with DJ Puff. Friday night is Greek night with DJ Vasilios and professional fireworks show on Saturday night. Visit CantonGreekFest.com for all the details, menus, and more. Canton Greek Fest, June 5, 6, and 7 at 251 25th Street Northwest in Canton.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills, land your next job, or refine your resume, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We will provide everything you need to succeed, from resume assistance to job search guidance and everything in between. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
I want to thank Perry head softball coach Scott Daugherty for joining us here on the program, and all the best. Perry, June the 7th, that's Saturday, 10 a.m. at Firestone Stadium up in Akron, state semifinal. Again, that's 10 o'clock this Saturday, and if you can get up there and root the Panthers on, I know they would appreciate it. We'll talk a little Jackson softball with head coach Adam Parker coming up at 5:40 this afternoon. Was checking out the weather forecast during the break. I think it's going to be, well, it could be a little dicey as we move on later in the week as far as the weather is concerned. Now, Glen Oak's going to be in the regional baseball in Canton. Central's going to be in the regional over in Massillon. Jackson still alive as well. Hoover still alive. They're going to be up at Gilmore Academy. I was checking out the weather for, I think the games start on Wednesday and would go through Saturday. And Wednesday is going to be beautiful, 87. But then Thursday, there's like a 65% chance of rain. Friday, a 60% chance of rain. So hopefully these tournament games don't get backed up, and the kids can go out there and play and have some nice weather and some great crowds behind them to root them on, as they are. When you're in the regionals in baseball and you're in the states in softball, you're getting very, very close to where you want to go. So best of luck to all of our local teams, and keep doing your thing. All right, Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day: which make the best pets? Cats, dogs, rabbits, fish? What do you got? I know cats and dogs are going to run away with it, but we've had a lot of people chime in. They've got fish at home. They got a nice aquarium. Somebody, I think it was, who was it? Melissa or Missy. They have cats, dogs, fish, and rabbits. Got them all. They got them all. But yeah, so that's. Oh boy, now we're getting. Now this is what I like. Now we're getting the pictures sent in of the actual pets. I love that. Keep those coming in as well on our social media platforms. We got the news and weather coming up here in less than 2 minutes. Don't forget, we'll talk Guardians baseball. Al Palowski, Cleveland Guardians TV, coming up at 4:35 this afternoon. Boy, the Guardians are they're playing really good ball, but they can't catch Detroit. Right? The Tigers just keep winning. Detroit is 39-21 now on the season. The Guards are 32-26. They're still 6 games behind Detroit. Minnesota is in third. They're 7 games out of first. Kansas City is in fourth. They are 8 games out of first. And then you got Chicago at 18-41. Now, Shane Bieber is going to start Thursday for the Rubber Ducks up at Canal Park, one of his rehab assignments coming off of Tommy John surgery. So if you want to go see the Rubber Ducks Thursday, you're going to get a chance to watch Shane Bieber up close and personal. He will get the start on Thursday. We'll talk more to Al Palowski about that coming up here, I'm sure, at 4:35. The only thing that scares me is Detroit. I think the Guards are going to be there. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I think they'll get a wild card. But the Tigers, man, are just playing incredible baseball. They really, really are. But the Guards they're hanging right with them. You get Bieber back, David Fry gets healthy, Chase DeLauder, keep him healthy down at AAA Columbus. He's been smashing the ball around. Maybe some good things are going to happen here. All right, we got the news, we got the weather. All those good things are happening here at the top of the hour. We've got 2 more big hours to go. Keep it right here on AM 1310 WDPN. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a sunny Monday afternoon. Stay with us.
Keeping Alliance entertained and informed for over a half a century. AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The suspect in the Boulder flamethrower attack at a Jewish rally Sunday is appearing in court today. Federal prosecutors say charges include a hate crime for the targeted attack that injured 8 people. ABC's Alex Stone is in Boulder.
We know from these court documents that they now prosecutors allege that he had pre-planned this for over a year, even waiting for his daughter to graduate before he came here about 2 hours from Colorado Springs to Boulder, buying gas on his way here, planning this out, Googling an event, a pro-Israeli event, finding this one here in Boulder, and saying he was waiting to kill his victims, that he specifically wanted to kill them.
On Capitol Hill, Senate lawmakers beginning talks on that sweeping reconciliation package already passed by the House. Many GOP senators, though, along with Democrats, are opposed to the sweeping cuts, especially to Medicaid. Sean Diddy Combs' former personal assistant was back on the stand today in the former music mogul's sex trafficking trial. This is ABC News.
It's Macy's Friends and Family Sale, which means if you're shopping for summer, you can get insider deals on our best brands, even ones that aren't usually on sale, like an extra 30% off Hugo Boss, Calvin Klein, Levi's, and more. Plus, get 15% off beauty and fragrance. And with Father's Day just around the corner on June 15th, it's a great time to shop for Dad. Stop by Macy's and walk out with a perfect gift. Don't miss Friends and Family, starting tomorrow, only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. Canton police are investigating a stabbing that occurred Sunday night. A 29-year-old Canton Township man was stabbed in the back in the 900 block of 5th Street Southwest. Officers were notified around 10:30. A woman told police the victim showed up at her apartment and rejected her offer of help. The man was taken to Altman Hospital, where he is in stable condition. Police say he was not cooperative and did not speak to hospital staff. They do not have a suspect. Jackson Township police say a third-grade student who brought a loaded gun to school last month obtained the weapon at his grandparents' home the morning of the incident. Officers responded to Sauter Elementary May 16th for a report of a student with a .45 caliber firearm in his book bag. A resource officer confronted the 10-year-old boy and took the gun. Police say the juvenile had made threats against another student and the resource officer. The boy was arrested and booked at the Stark County Juvenile Detention Center. He was charged with inducing panic and illegal conveyance of a deadly weapon. Police say the father, with whom the boy lives, cooperated with law enforcement. The case will be sent to the prosecutor's office to determine if additional charges will be filed. Jackson Township police have made an arrest in a shooting that sent one person to the hospital. Officers responded to a report of shots fired in the 5600 block of Lassiter Street Northwest the night of May 24th. Police say two cousins were arguing when one shot the other twice in the leg. The victim was taken to Mercy Hospital. A warrant was issued Thursday for 23-year-old Christian Huggins. He was arrested later that day. Huggins was booked into the Stark County Jail on a charge of felonious assault. A Washington Township man is dead following a mowing accident that occurred Sunday afternoon. The Stark County Sheriff's Office says 68-year-old Leo Meidlinger was mowing at his property in the 11,000 block of Beach Street when the mower rolled down a bank and overturned into water. He was pinned under the vehicle until deputies and paramedics rolled the vehicle off him. Meidlinger was pronounced dead at Alliance Community Hospital just after 4 p.m. The Sheriff's Office has asked the Canton Metro Crash Team to help with the investigation. Timothy Graham has been named president of Industrial Motion at the Timken Company. The move is effective immediately. Graham was also named an officer of the company. He was most recently vice president for engineered bearings and has been with the company since 2003. Timken president and CEO Richard Kyle says Graham's broad experience, expertise, and passion for strengthening our company will enable us to further scale and accelerate profitable growth for our Industrial Motion business. Graham succeeds Christopher Coughlin, who is retiring after 41 years with the company. 2 people were killed in Tuscarawas County when a motorcycle hauling a camper trailer overturned and slid off the roadway. According to the Highway Patrol, 44-year-old Jill Morris of Uricksville was a passenger on the bike and was pronounced dead at the scene by the Tuscarawas County Coroner's Office. Troopers later said the driver of the motorcycle also died. He was identified as 47-year-old Keith Morris of Uricksville. The crash occurred shortly after 8 p.m. Sunday on eastbound Route 250 in Goshen Township. Neither person was wearing a helmet at the time of the wreck, which is under investigation. A lawsuit accusing the Latonia Board of Education of sunshine law violations has been settled. The settlement was approved by the board Wednesday. The suit was filed by Brian Ames of Mogador. Columbiana County Common Pleas Judge Megan Bickerton last month granted the school district an extension until today to plead, file a response, or the plaintiff dismiss. Ames has settled similar suits with the Columbiana, Crestview, East Liverpool, and United school districts. Each infraction carries with it a $500 fine. Suits against Wellsville schools and the city of Columbiana are pending. The operator of Youngstown's private prison is the subject of a lawsuit filed by an inmate. The suit filed Wednesday in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court names Core Civic. The inmate, whose name has not been released, is seeking $25,000 in damages, attorney fees, and a jury trial. He claims he was beaten and tied up by other inmates and subjected to hours of physical and psychological torture from March 6th to 7th. WKBN TV reports Youngstown police were not alerted to the activity until March 8th. The inmate also alleges he was sexually assaulted. The suit states much of the incident was live-streamed by inmates on cell phones. The inmate also accuses prison staff of not checking on him during the 2-day period. An attorney is asking for a lower bond for a Camel man indicted on sex charges last year. 65-year-old Terrence Jeffries was charged with rape and compelling prostitution. He was arrested in August. Jeffries' attorney filed the motion for bond reduction in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court Friday. He was initially given a $25,000 bond at his arraignment in municipal court. Jeffries' attorney is now asking for a similar bond. 48-year-old Mildred Woods was also indicted and charged with compelling prostitution and trafficking in persons. She is accused of forcing or enticing a 12-year-old to take part in sexual activities with other people. Jeffries allegedly had sex with the victim. The activity occurred between April and June of 2024. Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski and 2 Sheriff's Office employees are being sued by a man who accuses them of retaliation. The suit was filed May 6th in federal court by William Lane of Palmyra Township. Lane wrote a string of Facebook posts alleging Zukowski, Corporal Robert James, and Captain Michael Davis were dishonest, vindictive, incompetent, and corrupt. Lane claims the trio and unnamed Sheriff's Office employees participated in wrongdoing. He is seeking more than $5 million in punitive and compensatory damages. The suit alleges James posted false accusations about Lane on Facebook with Zukowski's knowledge college, including that Lane is a drug dealer and assaults women. Lane promoted Zukowski's opponent John Barber, who was defeated in the November election. It's 74 degrees and Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
For the remainder of your Monday afternoon, mostly sunny and a high around 72. Tonight, partly cloudy. Temperatures will dip to near 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high near 80. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Music and intelligence for your life. No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
The little engine that could. Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's that one hard to right. Back goes Taylor. Looking up. See ya. Jose Ramirez. His 11th home run of the season. 2-0 Guardians on a blast to right for Jose. Well, Jose sitting in the hitter's count, and he was looking in his zone and got one. And he does what he usually does with a fastball right there. Hits it out of the ballpark and gives him a 1-0 lead or 2-0 lead.
The man is a machine. Scottie Scheffler, the repeat champion at Jack's event.
It was a big weekend for the Cleveland Guardians. It was a big weekend for Scottie Scheffler and a big weekend for our high school baseball and softball teams here in Stark County. Welcome to the Sam Bourquin Show, everybody. Hour 2 here on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. Sam Bourquin here, Ryan Rainsberg over on the other side of the glass, and we welcome you in to another big hour here on this beautiful, gorgeous Monday afternoon. I just went outside for a couple of minutes during the break. It's about 75, 76, beautiful sunshine. Just perfect. And we're going to warm up a little bit tomorrow. We're going to get a little warmer on Wednesday, and then we'll scale back a little bit, but the weather is going to be fantastic here the next 3 or 4 days. So make sure if you can get out and enjoy it. And take us with you wherever you happen to go. If it's on the radio at 1310 WDPN, if you're streaming live at 1310WDPN.com, you can do it that way. You can watch us on the Q92 Radio Facebook page or YouTube channel. You can also watch and listen on the WDPN X page and the WDPN Facebook page. We've got you covered all the way around. I want to thank Perry head softball coach Scott Daugherty for joining me in the 3 o'clock hour. More softball talk. Jackson head softball coach Adam Parker will be coming on at 5:40 today. Let's start with the guards here. As they keep climbing here. They're 32-26. They're in second place in the division, and they are 6 games behind Detroit. Had a tough start to the series against the Angels, but they came back. Nice win Saturday. Nice win yesterday. Shane Bieber is getting closer and closer. Maybe about a month now. It looks like maybe a month, maybe a little less. Bieber is going to start for the Rubber Ducks this Thursday up at Canal Park. So a chance for you to go check him out there. I think that would be pretty cool. So some reinforcements might be coming. They might be coming. But a nice gritty win yesterday up at the stadium. By the way, great crowds all weekend. They had 35,000 Friday. They were in the upper 20,000s on Saturday, and I believe they had over 23,000 yesterday. So a good gate for the Guardians over the weekend. You know, this happens every year, right? Weather gets a little bit warmer. The kids are out of school. Weekends are packed with promotions. Your team's playing pretty good ball. People will come to the ballpark, and that's exactly what they're doing now. But let's check in. Let's check in with Stephen Vogt for a couple of minutes after the win yesterday against the L.A. Angels up at Progressive Field to get the Guardians to win number 32 on the season.
Gavin, what he was able to do today. I think that's the best I've ever seen Gavin look. You know, I thought he was more efficient today. He was getting a lot of, getting ahead a lot, staying ahead, getting to 2 strikes, got some weak contact. Obviously 7 innings, solid for anybody. I thought it was just really good to see him use the cutter a lot more. But that was really good from Gavin. He pitched backwards, but it seems like getting the spin and kind of had that fastball look a little bit better. Is that fair to say? Yeah, I mean, Gavin needs to use all his pitches. The mix, we're learning. We're working together and learning what the best mix is. I think we're still trying to find what it is. But, again, the progression that Gavin has made just seems like he pops up and has one like this, and now it's string it together. Let's come right back next time out. Same efficiency, same attack. But that was really, really encouraging and an outstanding performance from Gavin. We talked about Nolan hitting the ball hard, but now we've seen that stroke last couple of days where he's getting back up the middle. Does that show that maybe his timing is in a good place? It's getting better. Yeah. No, I think Nolan, he's finding hits. He had 2 big ones today. He had some big hits in this series. So it's definitely an encouraging sign to see him progressing and getting back on time. And, but to me, when you're hitting the ball hard in the middle of the field like he is, that's when you're at your best. It's right back at the pitcher. That means you're on time for that heater.
You mentioned him a couple of days ago, Stephen, and that the hips would finally start dropping it like they are. So my question is, how difficult is it for a young guy especially to not press and try to change things up when the hits aren't coming?
I mean, every hitter presses. I don't care how much time you have. I don't care how long you've been around. You press when you're not getting results. So Nolan's no different. But what we're seeing is just the commitment to the fastball, and he has the ability to stay back on off speed. We've seen that now. So for Nolan, just continue to believe you're going to be there, believe you're going to be on time and get there. I think the reception Fry got in the first time. That was so cool to hear that walk-up song. David means more to us than just what he can do on the field. There's been an uplift in the clubhouse the last couple of days. He's a leader in that room. He makes all of us better. Just to have him back is huge. And so to hear the reception that he got before and after the at-bat, it's just good to see David Fry back on a baseball field. You never know what things are going to happen when you have surgery. There's no guarantees. So to see him back healthy, being able to help us, it's a huge lift for all of us.
Shane, we didn't get you before the game, but just what was it like seeing Shane's outing yesterday in the clubhouse and then hearing that he's going to be back around you guys starting Thursday or Friday?
Yeah. Again, anytime somebody has an injury or a surgery, you're just happy to see them back out there. Shane has a long way to go, but the first outing was very promising. He feels good, and that's all that matters to us. It was fun to see him pitch again.
There you go, Stephen Vogt. That audio courtesy of Cleveland Guardians TV, and you heard the skipper talking about Shane Bieber coming off that Tommy John surgery. It's a long way back. Remember, we haven't seen Shane pitch since what? May of 2024? Maybe it's been longer than that. I'm not sure. But he is scheduled to pitch for the Rubber Ducks coming up later this week up at Canal Park. This could be hopefully one of the moves that it's like almost making a trade. All right? Guards aren't going to go get anybody. They're not going to go spend and get somebody. But David Fry coming back, hopefully here. Biebs maybe within a month. As long as we don't have any more injuries or setbacks, moves like Bieber can inject a little juice into the team. And you can roll Shane Bieber out there in that rotation if all goes well. I mean, doesn't he go kind of like up to the top? And then you got your other guys like Gavin yesterday. One hit, was fantastic, had command of the ball. Was listening to the broadcast yesterday. Too nice to be inside. I listened to it. And he was throwing a lot more curveballs yesterday than fastballs. And I don't know if that was by design or if that's just what they've been working on to keep the batters off balance. But it worked. I mean, he had the Angels all tied up yesterday. Had them all tied up yesterday. So if he starts getting in a groove, Tanner Bybee, don't know what's going on there, but if he could find himself, and I mentioned this, I think it was last Friday, maybe Thursday, if he can get to where he can give 3 or 4 or hopefully 5 quality starts in a row, at least go 5 or 6 strong innings and have a good stat line, that's only going to help. That's going to rest the bullpen a little bit, right? I mean, this team could be okay. But again, I don't know if they're going to catch Detroit. But at 32-26, certainly in play for a wild card spot. That's not the way you want to do it. But if that's the only way you can get in, then that's the only way you can get in. And you roll the dice once you get there. But the Tigers are 39-21 right now and really playing well at home. They're 21-8 at home. Not too shabby on the road either. They're 18-13. Guards are 17-11 at home, and they are even on the road, 15-15. They will start a 3-game series with the New York Yankees coming up tomorrow at Yankee Stadium. And then they're back home. So it's like real quick. 3 games in New York, and you're back home for Houston Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And oh, by the way, the Astros are 32-27. They're a half game behind Seattle in the West. So that'll be a good stern test for the Guardians this weekend when the Astros come to town. Phones are open if you want to pop in here with us, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can always text the program at 924-7088. Poll question of the day. Who makes the best pets? Cats, dogs, fish, rabbits? What do you got? What do you got running around at home? Let us know. We'll take a break and come back. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
The Canton Greek Fest returns June 5th, 6th, and 7th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. each day, featuring indoor and outdoor dining, the St. Haralambas Hellenic dancers, cooking demos, kids' playground, wine tasting, drive-through, and so much more. Outdoor dance party on Thursday with DJ Puff. Friday night is Greek night with DJ Vasilios and professional fireworks show on Saturday night. Visit CantonGreekFest.com for all the details, menus, and more. Canton Greek Fest, June 5, 6, and 7 at 251 25th Street Northwest in Canton.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Back with you about 6 minutes until we get you to the bottom of the hour. Don't forget, Guardians Baseball Talk with Al Palowski from Cleveland Guardians TV coming your way at 4:35 this afternoon. If you were listening in here during the commercial break, the Greek Festival is happening this weekend. That is always a great time. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're gonna go down Saturday night. I'm gonna go down and sample some stuff, watch some fireworks Saturday. Hope to see you out there. Shout out to Georgia Paxos. She was over at the radio station this morning talking about the event, dropped off some flyers and some great food, which I have sampled throughout the day. So, Georgia, thank you for everything and hope you're doing well. And we'll see you at the big festival coming up this weekend. Phone lines are open if you want to pop in. 330-821-1310. 821-1310. All right. I mentioned it was a wild weekend for college baseball. Ohio had a couple of teams in the regionals this year. almost made it to the super regional. But Miami of Ohio and Wright State just came up a little close, and their seasons have come to an end. But still, this weekend was not without some crazy stuff. Oklahoma State, a huge walk-off home run. Little Rock upset LSU. The Roadrunners of UTSA stunning Texas. Oregon got bounced out of the tournament as well. Some wild games over the weekend. Let's go back and take a listen. In this sequence, Oklahoma State walk-off, LSU is stunned by Little Rock, and then the Roadrunners take out the Horns.
3-2 again. Swing and a drive. Right field. This game is tied. Here's the 0-1. Drive to left. Going back. Still going back. To the fence. It's gone. Oklahoma State wins.
Ground ball left side. Seguin nice throw, and this one is over, and Little Rock going to play for it all tomorrow night right here at Alex Box Stadium as they win it 10-4. The party will continue for the Trojans and their fans.
Swing and a miss! Pack your bags, Road Runners! You're headed to the Supers!
How about that? UTS, when they did it against Texas, big, bad hook 'em horns, and the Roadrunners took them out. Oregon is out. Texas is out. Holy cow. I'm telling you what. I don't know if it has anything to do with NIL or transfer portal or whatever. But this college baseball season, the tournament, you have seen teams that you would think would be like humongous underdogs against their opponent that day. And they're taking them out. And they're beating them on the road or beating them in their park. And they're moving out of the regionals to the super regionals, which is what? One step away to going to Omaha for the College World Series. Hey, congrats to the little guy, man. Congrats. Congratulations. Now, the heavy hitters are still going to be there. Florida's still going to be there. Vandy got knocked out. You're going to have, your big teams there. Oregon State, they advanced to the Supers. But yeah, Wright State, Miami really played well, but they just didn't make it. And people were probably saying, well, what happened? What's up with Ohio State's baseball program? Well, they had a horrible year. I recall a couple of games where Michigan scored 20+ on Ohio State in baseball. Now, the Buckeyes went through a coaching change. I think the guy they've got now is going to get them back on track, but I can't remember the coach before. He did not do the program any favors. They just fell off the face of the earth. They weren't even competitive. And I know football is the king. That's the revenue maker. Basketball is supposed to be a revenue maker. Buckeyes have always had a great hockey team, great gymnastics, really good wrestling program. But you can't be an afterthought in baseball. You just can't be and play that poorly for as long as they have. So they made the coaching switch. They had a rough year this year. Hopefully they'll get it back. They'll get it back together coming up here next year. All right, news and weather coming up at the bottom of the hour, 4:35. Stick around. We're going to talk Cleveland Guardians baseball with Al Palowski from Cleveland Guardians TV. Much more coming up on the Sam Bourquin Show on a Monday. Keep it here, 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. The FBI says the man charged in the attack in Boulder, Colorado that left 8 people injured told police he planned it for a year and specifically targeted what he described as the Zionist group. An FBI affidavit says Mohammed Solomon confessed to the attack after being taken into custody Sunday and told police he would do it again. The affidavit was released in support of a federal hate crime charge filed by the Justice Department today. The group that was targeted had gathered in a pedestrian park in Boulder to draw attention to the Israeli hostages who remain in Gaza. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza now says at least 31 people were killed in a shooting at a food aid distribution center. Nearly 200 others were injured. Officials blame Israeli forces. ABC News chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv with more.
Eyewitnesses saying that a large crowd was basically waiting for this center to open. Already struggling hospitals in the area overwhelmed with victims. The group Doctors Without Borders saying patients telling them that they were shot at from all sides. The IDF, though, strongly denying its troops opening fire on the ground in this incident.
Lawmakers in the Senate are back in Washington today. They're debating the budget and tax bill that is supported by the Trump administration. The proposal aims to extend the 2017 tax cuts from President Trump's first term, as well as cutting food assistance programs and Medicaid. The bill may face an uphill climb as many Senate Republicans are voicing concerns. This measure barely passed the House and will certainly face challenges in the Senate, where a handful of Republicans are already warning about the level of spending. Others back home at at town halls have been confronted about the cuts. At least one of the problems that had been plaguing one of the busiest airports in the country has been solved. ABC's Sherry Preston explains.
Some relief for travelers through Newark Liberty Airport. They still have some communications issues there, and they still have some air traffic control shortages, but the runway that had been under construction for weeks, reducing the number of landings and takeoffs, is clear of the orange cones today. This traveler couldn't be happier.
A lot of my family members were just worried for me coming to this airport.
That runway had been shut down for weeks, but now planes have been taking off and landing without any problems. Sherry Preston, ABC News, New York.
It's 74 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For the remainder of your Monday afternoon, mostly sunny skies and a high reaching 72. Tonight, partly cloudy, cooler, a low dipping to 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies and a high around 80. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world that we call home. Like transforming an old bus to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. And you can watch and listen right now. I'm waving. See? Hello. How we doing? Good to see you. Q92 Radio Facebook page and the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. Always a great way to interact with us here on the program. Guards off today. They'll be in New York tomorrow night at 7:05 to take on the New York Yankees. It'll be Tanner Bybee, Carlos Rodon at the stadium. First pitch again at 7:05. You can catch it on Cleveland Guardians TV. All right. Speaking of which, we are going to talk some baseball right now from Cleveland Guardians TV. Pre, in, and post-game host and the man who's got the gold glove in the broadcast booth, Al Palowski, joins us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Al, good afternoon. How we doing, my friend?
Hey, Sam. Good to talk to you.
Thanks for coming on. Hey, we played that sound clip earlier in the show of you snagging that ball, and I've watched the video a couple of times. Nice reflexes back there.
Well, thank you. I like to think I still got it. It's been a little while since I've been on a competitive ball field, like back in my 20s at some point. But, it was. I saw the ball coming back and thought, well, I could get my hands on this, but I'm going to see if I can make a catch, and I was able. And thankfully, I kept Rick safe, and that was my primary goal.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't going to give you any help. I could tell by the video that wasn't going to happen. You had to do it all by yourself. So that was pretty cool. And hey, now I think maybe you can accompany Hammy to Cooperstown now, right?
Well, yeah, that sounds like a plan. He can go in for the broadcaster's end, and I could go in for the broadcaster's Gold Glove, as MLB has nominated me for. So hopefully I can get that.
Outstanding. So a pretty good homestand, a pretty good weekend. We got a lot of people through the gates Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The weather broke a little bit, and kids are out of school, and the ballpark was the place to be. How was it for you this weekend, and what kind of feeling we have with our ball club as we get ready for New York and try to pick up win number 33 tomorrow night?
Well, hopefully we can, get it done tonight. Rodon's always a tough one to go against. He almost had that perfect game against Cleveland a few years ago when he was pitching for the White Sox. He ended up with that no-hitter. Whenever he shows up on the hill, it's generally bad news for whomever's facing him, but it seems especially Cleveland hitters. But, yeah, this past weekend against the Angels, the Guardians took care of business. They took 2 out of 3. It would have been great to get a sweep, but winning 2 out of 3 is not bad against a team that's improved this year, especially with Mike Trout returning. That makes that ball club a lot different than when he's not in the lineup or available to pinch it off the bench like he did on Sunday. We're starting to see some hitters come around. Nolan Jones is on a nice little hot streak here. In the last 4 games, he's got 8 hits. He's finally seeing some results for hitting the ball as hard as he has been. And a couple of the other guys now, Ramirez is, I don't know if he can get any hotter, but it felt like on Saturday and Sunday he got hotter than what he was, and he was pretty hot before that. Stephen Kwan got 3 hits on Saturday. And pitching-wise, Sam, the bullpen is very strong. Starters for the most part got a great start yesterday from Gavin Williams. Took that no-hitter into the 6th inning, and hopefully now this team's coming around. But boy, it's a competitive division, toughest division in all of baseball. The Tigers are playing as well as they have, and since they have Justin Verlander, so it's going to be a very interesting season. But with those 3 wild card slots available, it's not as imperative to win the division as it was a few seasons ago.
Yeah, you're 6 behind Detroit, and I don't think the Tigers are going anywhere. They're just playing really good ball. But you're right. If you got to go that route, which is the wild card, which is a long way away, but if that's the way you get in, that's the way you get in. You roll the dice and you see what you can do. Gavin Williams yesterday, Al, 6 2/3. It looked like he was throwing a lot more curves and a lot more breaking pitches than fastballs yesterday. I'm assuming that was by design, scouting report, or they're just trying to help him with his command with both of those pitches.
Yeah, I think that was it. He's had a few games where he's gotten hit pretty hard, but he's also had some games where he's just been a shutdown type pitcher. So when that happens, generally it's they're figuring you out, because if you have shutdown capability, then you're pretty good. The times that you're pitching well, it's because they know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a good scouting report. We saw that against the Dodgers and Ohtani. He jumped on his first pitch. So, he's given up 3 first pitch home runs this year of the ball game. So that had to change. And I think that you saw by him going to the breaking ball a lot more against the Angels, and it was a really good breaking ball too. That was as good as I've seen him throw the breaking ball, and he's always had a pretty good one. But as long as he can throw a breaking ball like that, now you really have the hitters off balance, because they can't sit on anything. If they're going to sit on the fastball and you throw them that, it's going to be awfully hard to hit it. If they're sitting on that breaking ball and then you come back with the heater, there's no way they're going to catch up to it. So that's what allowed him to pitch so well yesterday. He had really 3+ pitches. He mixed in the cutter as well, which was breaking real nice for him.
Mm-hmm.
And still had some heat behind it. So he was a lot of fun to watch pitch yesterday, and that's the sort of ability he has. So if we can get that out of him more consistently, look out. I mean, he's got the ability to be an ace and be on the same level as Tanner Bybee. They're awfully close.
Al Palowski is our guest, Cleveland Guardians TV. If Gavin could get in that groove and get quality start after quality start, if we could get Tanner Bybee in that same kind of routine, get the quality start, 5, 6 really good innings with a good stat line, he'll start feeling better. The pen will get a little bit of a rest, and not too far down the road, maybe a month or so, Shane Bieber could be back into the mix. I mean, we've had to undergo 2 or 3 injuries with our pitchers here the last 7 to 10 days. Ben Lively, we had the tough the other night, Friday night against the Angels. Guys have had to go out for various things, but somehow, some way, Stephen Vogt has been able to keep this pitching train on track amongst a lot of adversity.
Yeah, that's been one of the pluses over the years, especially, the last 10, 11 years, having that depth of pitching. So when somebody gets hurt, you've got those young kids coming up that are ready to pitch at the major league level. Now, they're not going to be shut down necessarily like Gavin Williams can be a shutdown pitcher and Tanner Bybee can be a shutdown pitcher. They're not going to necessarily come up and throw like that, but they can come up and keep you in the game, and they're not, held together with rubber bands and string like some of these other pitchers are on other teams. When a couple of guys go down, they're just looking for anybody to come up and throw some pitches and keep you in the game. It's funny. I was talking to one of the Dodgers coaches last week when the Dodgers were in town, and we were comparing the two rosters. And you may laugh at that and say, okay, yeah, the Dodgers versus the Guardians roster, or the Dodgers versus any roster, right?
Right.
However, when you look at the pitching situation, one of the points that this coach brought up, which to me was one of the things he likes about Cleveland, is he says, you got a lot of very good young pitching. And then when somebody gets hurt, you just go down and bring up one of those young pitchers who don't have a lot of miles on them. You look at the Dodgers staff, they've got a lot of the big names. They've got Blake Snell. He's out. They've got Tyler Glass now. He's out right now. Evan Phillips has been a very good bullpen guy. He's out right now. They've got other injuries. Dustin May is pitching, but he's been hurt. You've got Clayton Kershaw, but got a lot of miles on him. So that's one of the things that if you look at the Dodgers staff, they got all the big names. But then you look at the Guardian staff. They're both talented, but that's one of the things, and I thought it's a great point too, that allows the Guardians to be so competitive is their good young pitching. They rarely have guys pitching past their primes. They rarely have pitchers on long-term deals that, are in their mid-30s. And that's what allows this pitching staff to be as effective as it is.
I'll tell you what, speaking of the pitching staff, it looks like our guy, Emmanuel Clase, has got it revved up again. How impressive has he been his last couple of outings, Al?
Oh, he's been fantastic. He looks like the old Emmanuel Clase, which is exactly what Cleveland needs. He's finally been able to get some rest. He had that shoulder discomfort, so they held him out for almost a week back in April. Ever since then, he looks like he's kind of back to the old Clase, and he hasn't had a pitch 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row, which has been a problem for, him. I don't want to say it's a problem. I mean, my goodness, he had a .6 ERA last year, but trying to keep a reliever healthy when they have to pitch a lot, it's tough to do. So if you can find him some rest, you can see how effective he is. So when he pitched, Saturday and Sunday against the Angels, well, he was off on Thursday because it was a team off day. He was off on Friday. He's off today because the team is off. So he'll be ready to go tomorrow in New York. And he went 3 up, 3 down in both innings on Saturday and Sunday. So if you can, and you can't always do it too. Sometimes you need him to pitch 3 consecutive days, or sometimes 4 out of 5 days. But hopefully, if they can find places to get him some rest, he is so effective when he's got adequate rest. And it's tough though. It's tough to get relievers, that sort of rest. But when Clase has it, he's as effective as anybody that's ever been a closer in this game.
Al Palowski is our guest, Cleveland Guardians TV in-game and post-game host. You can check him out, CLE Guardians TV. Al, kind enough to join us here on the Sam Bourquin Show today, 1310 WDPN. All right, Al, from the mound to the batter's box, and I know the numbers and the average isn't going to blow many people away, but I got to tell you, Gabby Arias and Nolan Jones look like they're starting to cook a little bit. What do you see?
Yeah, Nolan Jones is finally, as I told you earlier, getting some results. If you look at his hard hit percentage, just under 50%. That's incredible. There's nobody on the team close to him. The next closest player is hard hit percentage is 44%, and that's very good. Most guys are at 40 or a little bit below that. So that's what's incredible is you look at his hard hit percentage, and then you look at his batting average going into that Dodgers game last Wednesday. I mean, he was well below 200. Now, of course, he's over it because he's gotten hot. But it tells you that he has got to be the unluckiest hitter on the planet. So the odds were going to eventually swing into his favor. And now those line drives are finding holes. Now those deep balls are not being caught at the wall because they're finally starting to even out a little bit. So that's what I see with Nolan Jones. Arias is a guy that he's always had it in as a hitter. You always saw that. But he's paying more attention to detail now. He's got a little bit better plan when he goes up to the plate. He's spending more time on his game. he's starting to do the little things. I mean, the talent was never a question. He doesn't just have major league talent. I mean, he's got all-star type of talent. But there's a lot of guys that have had all-star type talent, and they barely had a career in Major League Baseball for other reasons. If Arias can continue on the path he's on mentally and with how he's preparing now for each at-bat, I mean, look out. This kid could be good for a long time.
Well, crazy moment in yesterday's game. Moncada goes up as a pinch hitter. He gets penalized because he took too long to get in the box, so he gets a strike called. He gets into the box. He takes two. He thought he only had 2 strikes, and the third one ended up being the third for a strikeout. He went out of his mind. He just wasn't aware of the situation. I'm not sure what happened there, but have you seen that before doing games this year or last year yet with that pitch clock?
No, I haven't seen it. It hasn't happened in one of the Guardians games, especially where a hitter was unaware. But that's been Moncada's problem. Talk about another guy with a ton of talent. That's Yohan Moncada. He's got a ton of it. But, the knock on him has been that he hasn't always played the game wisely. So, maybe some details escape him. That one certainly did. Ron Washington and the bench was saying something to the home plate umpire when he put his arm up. But he put his arm up. That's a strike. You've got nobody in the box. And then they were complaining, and then he put 2 hands. He pointed at the batter's box. He said, pointed to his watch, pointed at the batter's box, and said, "I don't have a hitter. If I don't have a hitter, that's a strike." That's the way it is with Major League Baseball. So even though you're pinch hitting, you have to get the hitter in the box in X amount of time. And where Moncada was is a mystery. I kept looking down from the press box, calling the game. I'm looking at the on-deck circle, and I'm seeing Zach Neto in the on-deck circle. Right. So the umpire looked at him, and he looked like, well, I'm not up. Obviously he wasn't, because he's the guy that was coming up after the 9 slot in the order. So that's what the penalty is. I mean, that's really out of the umpire's hands too. So they got a little bit upset with him at first, and then I think they realized it is what it is. You've got a certain amount of time to get your batter into the box. And if you don't do so, it's a strike. And then if you'd have waited another 30 seconds or whatever the time is on it would have been strike 2.
Strike 2, yeah.
So the bench knew it. Al Moncada didn't know it. Everybody else knew it. Is a mystery to us. But glad he didn't, because he took a pitch that he might have swung at and hit. He's an awfully talented hitter. He might have swung at that with 2 strikes. But when he thought the count was 1-1, he thought, breaking ball, I'm going to hold off on this one. And Hunter Gaddis painted the corner on it.
Unbelievable. Al, I appreciate the time as always. Have a great series with the New York Yankees. And, hey, we're right back home against the Astros this weekend. So busy baseball time, but it's a great time of year. And we always appreciate the time you give us here on the program. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
You got it, Sam. Great to talk to you.
You bet. Al Palowski, Cleveland Guardians TV. You can check him out pregame, postgame, and in-game host as the Guards are back in action tomorrow night against the Yankees. It'll be Tanner Bybee and Carlos Rodon at 7:05. We'll take a break here on the Sam Bourquin Show. 10 minutes until the top of the hour. If you want to get in, 330-821-1310. You can always text the program at 330-924-7088. Much more to come here on AM 1310 WDPN.
The Canton Greek Fest returns June 5th, 6th, and 7th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. each day, featuring indoor and outdoor dining, the St. Haralambous Hellenic dancers, cooking demos, kids' playground, wine tasting, drive-through, and so much more. Outdoor dance party on Thursday with DJ Puff. Friday night is Greek night with DJ Vasilios and professional fireworks show on Saturday night. Visit CantonGreekFest.com for all the details, menus, and more. Canton Greek Fest, June 5, 6, and 7 at 251 25th Street Northwest in Canton.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. You've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we are back. I want to thank Al Palowski from Cleveland Guardians TV for joining us for a segment. Talking a little Guards baseball here on 1310 WDPN. Guardians and Yankees, game 1 of 3 tomorrow night in New York. Guards and Yankees Wednesday, Thursday, and then Cleveland back home against the Houston Astros on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This will be the first meeting of the year with the Guards and the Stros. This time around, it will be up in Cleveland. Phone lines are open if you want to pop in today, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Coming up at about 5:27, we've got On This Day in sports history. And then at 5:40 today, we'll talk a little Jackson Polar Bear softball with the head softball coach of the Bears, and that is Adam Parker. He'll be joining us in around 5:40 this afternoon. Let's see here. I wanted to throw this out here real quick. The cover. Did you guys see this? You video gamers out there? The Madden 26 cover this year is Saquon Barkley. And it's not just any old picture. It's not just any old pose. It's Saquon Barkley hurdling a defender. And I'm looking at the picture now. I saw it happen live on TV, and it was just one of the most incredible things I'd ever seen in my life. We kind of set the scene here for you as best as I can over radio. But it was one of the images of the year in the National Football League. Barkley's incredible backwards hurdle. It was against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Philly would go on to win that game. The hurdle, apparently, that's the inspiration behind the Madden 26 cover, as that was announced on Monday. He will be on the Madden cover. And if you saw the play as it happened, you're like, oh, that's straight out of a video game. Like, I've seen a lot of football players hurdle defenders when they're running to them, when they're running at them. Saw it a lot over here at Mount Union the last couple of years. Guys hurdling. This was backwards. This was a backwards hurdle by Saquon Barkley. I can't remember the guy that he hurdled over, but he's running downfield. He turns to make a spin move, and he hurdles the guy backwards and goes on to pick up a few more yards. It was almost so unbelievable. You didn't believe it when you saw it in regular motion. But then when they went and they put it on slow-mo and they showed the replay a couple of times, I'm like, are you kidding me? That was incredible. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it. And I know he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. But I swear to you, That was one of the most incredible athletic plays I had ever seen on a football field, no matter what the level. But Saquon Barkley is the cover guy on the cover of Madden 26, which is going to be coming out here probably usually about the end of July. They come out with it, or early August, in time for the upcoming football season. But I thought that was incredible. I'd never seen anybody hurdle somebody backwards, and he did it. I don't want it so nonchalant. It was like, let me hurdle this guy, and let me do it with my back to him. It was really, really incredible. But yeah, good choice. Good choice to put on the cover of Madden. The cover of NCAA college football, that video game, that came out a couple of weeks ago. There was actually two covers there. They had one with a couple of players. One of them was Devontae Smith from Ohio State. And then the other cover, it had looked like 30 or 40 different players, had all their uniforms on in the background. But that's pretty cool as well. Yeah, I don't play those games as much, hardly anymore. I'll play a little Madden against my son once in a while, or we'll play RBI, or not RBI. What is it? The show, MLB The Show for baseball. We'll play that once in a while, and I'm excited. I was going to get the college football game last year because it was the first time it was out in a long, long time, and I didn't get around to doing it. I think I might go get it this year. I might do that just to, just for the heck of it. Oh, something to do maybe when there's extra time, if you know what I mean. Used to play those all the time though. Oh my gosh. I used to get serious about those games. They got the stadium creators on them. I would design my own stadium for baseball and football. And then years and years ago, I don't know if it was Madden. It might have been college football. You could make your own high school teams and have them going against each other. So you could make up whatever teams, put uniforms on them. And that was kind of cool. Haven't done that in a long, long time. Don't have that much time anymore, right? Just like now, we got to get to the top of the hour. We've got news. Jeff Mears is coming up. We've got all the weather coming up as well. One more big hour here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Don't forget 5:40 today. Jackson softball coach Adam Parker will join us. And right around the 5:30 mark, as we usually do, we will bring you on this day in sports history. So lots to get to here on this Monday afternoon. Hang out with us for another hour here. 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. The news is coming up next.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Uncertainty over tariffs continues. President Trump vowing to hike tariffs on European steel and aluminum imports next week. Right now, it stands at 25%. ABC's Karen Travers says the president wants to boost steel production here in the U.S.
But there's so much analysis on this right now is saying that likely what companies will do is you can't shift that production so quickly. You will continue to import foreign steel and take that higher cost right now with the 50% tariff, and that will likely get passed on to consumers. You can see this at the grocery store too, with cans, not just the big ticket items like cars and appliances.
The suspect in the Boulder flamethrower attack, police say targeted a Jewish group at a rally for Hamas-held hostages, is due in court later today. He's facing both state and federal charges, including attempted murder and a federal hate crime count. Stormy and smoky skies over the Midwest and Upper Plains today. Wildfire smoke from Canada drifting into the U.S. This is ABC News.
It's Macy's Friends and Family Sale, which means if you're shopping for summer, you can get insider deals on our best brands, even ones that aren't usually on sale, like an extra 30% off Hugo Boss, Calvin Klein, Levi's, and more. Plus, get 15% off beauty and fragrance. And with Father's Day just around the corner on June 15th, it's a great time to shop for Dad. Stop by Macy's and walk out with a perfect gift. Don't miss Friends and Family, starting tomorrow, only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
This Father's Day, help Dad be all he can be with a gift from the Home Depot. Because he's not just Dad, he's the handyman of the house, the plumber in a pinch, and the emergency mechanic. Upgrade his gear this Father's Day with the Husky Mechanics 270-piece tool set from the Home Depot. Now on special buy for $119, $695 value. For every kind of dad, find the perfect gift this Father's Day at the Home Depot.
And if you don't have the right auto coverage,
the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. A man is in stable condition after being stabbed in the back in Canton. Police were alerted around 10:30 Sunday night. The incident occurred in the 900 block of 5th Street Southwest. A woman told police the victim showed up at her apartment and declined her offer of help. The Canton Township man was taken to Altman Hospital. The victim reportedly was not cooperative and did not speak to hospital staff. Police do not have a suspect. An investigation continues. There are new details about an incident in which a student brought a loaded gun to Sauter Elementary School in the Jackson School District. Police were called there for a report of a third grader with a .45 caliber firearm in his book bag May 16th. A resource officer confronted the 10-year-old boy with the firearm and took it. Police say he had made threats against another student and the resource officer. He was charged with inducing panic and illegal conveyance of a deadly weapon. The boy is being held at the Stark County Juvenile Detention Center. Police say he obtained the weapon at his grandparents' home the morning of the incident. The case will be sent to the prosecutor's office to determine if additional charges will be filed. Police say the father, with whom the boy lives, cooperated with law enforcement. The suspect in a shooting in Jackson Township is in custody. 23-year-old Christian Huggins was picked up Thursday. The same day a warrant was issued for his arrest. Huggins was taken to the Stark County Jail on a charge of felonious assault. Police were called to the 5600 block of Lassiter Street Northwest the night of May 24th for a report of shots fired. One person was shot twice in the leg. He was taken to Mercy Hospital. Police say two cousins were arguing when one pulled a gun and shot the other. The Stark County Sheriff's Office has asked the Canton Metro Crash Team to help with the investigation of a fatal accident. The Sheriff's Office says a mower operated by 68-year-old Leo Meidliger Sunday afternoon slid down a bank, overturned, and landed in water. He was trapped under the mower until deputies and paramedics rolled the vehicle off him. Meidliger was pronounced dead at Alliance Community Hospital just before 4 p.m. The incident took place on Meidliger's property in the 11,000 block of Beach Street. The Timken Company has a new president of Industrial Motion. Timothy Graham was appointed to the post effective immediately. He replaces Christopher Coughlin, who is retiring after 41 years with the company. Graham was also named an officer of Timken. He has been with the company since 2003, most recently vice president for engineered bearings. Timken president and CEO Richard Kyle says Graham's broad experience, expertise, and passion for strengthening our company will enable us to further scale and accelerate profitable growth for our industrial motion business. The Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal motorcycle crash that occurred Sunday night in Tuscarawas County. 47-year-old Keith Morris of Uricksville was eastbound on Route 250 in Goshen Township around 8 p.m. The motorcycle was hauling a camper trailer which overturned and slid off the roadway. Morris died of injuries suffered in the crash. His passenger, 44-year-old Jill Morris of Uricksville, was pronounced dead at the scene by the Tuscarawas County Coroner's Office. The patrol says neither person was wearing a helmet at the time of the wreck. The Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office is investigating what they are calling a likely murder-suicide. According to the Sheriff's Office, deputies were called to the 2000 block of Gordon Road in Dover Township just after 1:30 Sunday afternoon. A 911 caller said people were getting ready for a graduation party at the time when gunshots were heard. The caller said 64-year-old Robert Houston was in the home and shot his 53-year-old wife April and then himself. The Sheriff's Office said deputies found the man lying on his bed and a woman near the bed. The woman was later pronounced dead at a hospital. The Sheriff's Office says the party was for a child who lived in the home but was not there at the time. The party, which had not yet begun, was to be on the property a couple of hundred yards away from the home. The Leetonia Board of Education has agreed to settle a lawsuit alleging sunshine law violations. The board approved the settlement Wednesday. Columbiana County Common Pleas Judge Megan Bickerton last month granted the school district an extension until today to plead, file a response, or the plaintiff dismiss. Brian Ames of Mogador filed the suit. He has settled similar suits with the Columbiana, Crestview, East Liverpool, and United school districts. Cases against Wellsville schools and the city of Columbiana are pending. Each infraction results in a $500 fine. An inmate at Youngstown's private prison is suing its operator after being beaten and tied up by other inmates. The suit against Core Civic was filed in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court Wednesday. According to WKBN TV, the inmate alleges he was subjected to hours of physical and psychological torture, including beatings and humiliation from March 6th to 7th. Youngstown police were not notified until March 8th. The inmate also claims he was sexually assaulted. The suit states much of the incident was live streamed by inmates on on cell phones. The inmate says he was not checked on by prison staff during the 2 days. He is seeking $25,000 in damages, attorney fees, and a jury trial. The inmate's name has not been released. A Camel man indicted on sex charges last year is seeking a lower bond. The attorney for 65-year-old Terrence Jeffries filed the request Friday in Mahoning County Common Police Court. He was charged with rape and compelling prostitution. Jeffries was arrested in August. He was initially given a $25,000 bond at his arraignment in municipal court. Jeffries' attorney is asking for a similar bond now. Also indicted was 48-year-old Mildred Woods. She's charged with compelling prostitution and trafficking in persons. Woods allegedly forced or enticed a 12-year-old to take part in sexual activities with other people between April and June of 2024. Jeffries is accused of having sex with the victim during the same time frame. A man is suing Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski and 2 sheriff's office employees, accusing them of retaliation over claims he posted on Facebook. William Lane of Palmyra Township filed the suit in federal court May 6. It also names Corporal Robert James and Captain Michael Davis. Lane wrote a series of posts accusing Zukowski, James, and Davis of being dishonest, vindictive, incompetent, and corrupt. The posts alleged acts of wrongdoing by the trio and unnamed sheriff's office employees. Lane promoted Zukowski's opponent, John Barber, who was defeated in the November election. The suit claims James posted false accusations about Lane on Facebook with Zukowski's knowledge. They included that Lane is a drug dealer and assaults women. He is seeking more than $5 million in punitive and compensatory damages. A woman was arrested after harboring the suspect accused of shooting 2 Mifflin Township police officers Wednesday. 31-year-old Jayla Call was charged with obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence. Call made her first court appearance today. A judge set bond at $250,000. Franklin County SWAT and the U.S. Marshals Task Force tracked the shooting suspect, identified as 21-year-old Devontae Dixon, to an apartment on Thelma Drive in Obitz. When they arrived, Call walked out and approached the officers. She was taken to the Franklin County Sheriff's Office for an interview. Call reportedly admitted Dixon was at her home for several hours and that she was aware he was a fugitive. Dixon fired several rounds from the home before barricading himself inside. He was found with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Dixon was taken to a hospital in critical condition Friday night. A method some Ohio prisons use to prevent drugs from being trafficked into facilities through the mail is being challenged in court. The Ohio Justice and Policy Center filed a lawsuit May 6th against senior managers at the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction over the screening of mail between inmates and their attorneys. The practice is intended to secure legal mail and ensure contraband does not enter prisons. The policy was introduced in the winter and spring of last year at 4 of the 28 prisons overseen by the state. The lawsuit alleges the policy has resulted in at least one confirmed instance of a staff member reading an inmate's legal mail, which was copied out of the incarcerated person's presence. Drugs known as K2 or spice, a synthetic form of marijuana, can be sprayed onto paper, incorporated into ink, and otherwise concealed within mail. Therefore, many prisons have moved to photocopying mail. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 42,305, up 35 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 129 points higher at 19,242, and the S&P 500 closed at 5,935, up 24 points. It's 74 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly sunny skies for this Monday afternoon, a high around 72. Tonight, partly cloudy, temperatures will fall to near 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high around 80. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
Weird, confusing, and at times pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
And can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
scientific research, and real-life experience.
Tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why I.
That's why we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
For the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is 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 a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedSpace.org.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you as a police officer that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/preventviolentcrime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's that one hard to right. Back goes Taylor. Looking up. See ya. Jose Ramirez. His 11th home run of the season. 2-0 Guardians on a blast to right for Jose.
Well, Jose sitting in the hitter's count, and he was looking in his zone and got one. And he does what he usually does with a fastball right there. Hits it out of the ballpark and gives him a 1-0 lead or 2-0 lead.
The man is a machine. Scottie Scheffler, the repeat champion at Jack's event.
And we are back. We're hour number 3 here on the Sam Bourquin Get Together, AM 1310 WDPN. We're all over the world. Live stream everywhere. All over AM 1310 WDPN.com. Heard a couple clips there in the beginning. Audio courtesy of Cleveland Guardians TV and CBS Sports. You heard Jose Ramirez go deep for the 11th time this year as the Guards took care of business at home yesterday against the Angels. They'll be in New York for a 3-game series coming up against the Yankees Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You heard Scottie Scheffler roll it in and win another golf tournament. He is absolutely on fire. On fire. Scottie Scheffler. His 3rd win in his last 4 starts. Whew. Folks, that's not easy to do. I don't care what you're doing, what sport you're talking about, what position. For a golfer at the highest level with the PGA, to win 3 out of your last 4 starts is really, really impressive. And he was good again at Muirfield Village down in Columbus over the weekend. Phone lines are open if you want to pop in, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Hello, if you are listening and watching right now on the Q92 Radio Facebook page or Q92 Radio YouTube channel. You can also follow us on X at AM1310 WDPN and check out the Q92 Sports Facebook page while you're there. Coming up here in about 11 or 12 minutes, we'll have On This Day in Sports History. 5:40 today, we'll talk some Jackson softball with the head coach of the Polar Bears, and that would be Adam Parker coming up here at around 5:40 this afternoon. Certainly hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I was able to get out and do some yard work yesterday. Got the yard mowed. I must say, I did it at a rather leisurely pace because it was so nice. I just wanted to kind of enjoy the weather, enjoy the sunshine. All the neighbors were out and about yesterday, so it was good. We got some weeding done. We got some mowing done. Got some rocks moved around in the back. Good stuff. You know what? It's so nice out right now. I'm thinking about going home and mowing again, just for the heck of it, just for the sheer enjoyment and exercise. And it's going to be even nicer tomorrow and nicer on Wednesday. We got some great weather coming up. Make sure you get out there. You can enjoy it, whether you're driving around, doing some yard work, kicking back on the patio, the porch, whatever you got going on. We're in the golden era of weather here, at least for the next 72 hours before it starts to rain again. But man, the weather was fantastic over the weekend. A little bit of a we've got lots of high school sports teams are still at it. Baseball teams are still cooking. Where's my list? Baseball regionals coming up. Hoover, Glen Oak, Central Catholic, and Jackson. Softball state semifinals coming up at Akron Firestone Stadium this weekend. Good luck to Perry. Good luck to Jackson. I know we got some track and field athletes all over the county. Going to have a busy weekend as well. So congratulations to all of our great high schools and their teams and their coaches and communities for really kicking it up a notch this year. We've got, between baseball and softball, we got 6 teams still left. It's June, and we still got a lot of teams playing for championships, and all the best to them and their coaches, and hopefully they can bring home that coveted state championship as well. College baseball still going on. Teams have moved into the super regionals for the most part. They're one step away from the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. But a quiet weekend, pretty much. NBA, NHL, we've got our teams. We've got our participants for the upcoming Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals, but that's not going to get going until later this week. I think the hockey starts Wednesday, I think. Gosh, they've been off forever. I don't know that that's good. I don't know that that's good because you build up so much momentum in the conference finals, and now you just sit because TV tells you have to, because they pay for it, so you have to listen. The NBA Finals, I think, go Thursday. So we haven't had any basketball Saturday. No, we had Saturday night, so off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the finals will begin on Thursday. So we'll get back into that coming up a little bit later on this week. Did I see where Oklahoma City, like the betting line is like minus 750? They are huge favorites to win the series. Huge. Like Vegas doesn't even believe this is going to be, a good series. I mean, have they not been watching the Indiana Pacers? Don't they think they could steal a couple of games and make this thing go maybe 6 or maybe go 7 games? Look, Okie State's the best team. OKC's the best team, don't get me wrong. They got the best players. But I think we've all seen enough of the Indiana Pacers to tell us that this team's going to go out and play. They're going to go out and play hard. They're not going to be intimidated by Oklahoma City. They're not going to be intimidated by going on the road. I mean, come on. I think Indiana makes this a series. I really do. I would be
agree.
shocked if it was over in 4 or 5. I really would.
Me too.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to go 6.
Yeah, I could see that. I think Indiana plays good team basketball.
Yeah, they do. And they play hard.
Yeah.
They've got a second gear that they get to when you think that they might be out of gas and boom, there they are. Putting the pressure on you, stealing the ball at half court, going down, getting a couple of buckets.
Yeah, and Halliburton seems to be their secret clutch wild card weapon.
Yeah,
they kind of toss in when they need points.
Halliburton's a stud. Turner's a stud. Pascal Siakam, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
Yeah, Siakam's good.
He can play.
Yeah.
I think Rick Carlisle's a hell of a coach. I think Indiana's going to be right there. I really do. Now, as far as the NHL is concerned, oh my gosh, Florida. What is with Florida? The Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning have taken over the NHL like the last 7 or 8 years. I don't know how, but they have. You got a rematch this year of Edmonton and Florida. Last year, this thing went 7, and the Panthers won. Same 2 teams. It's a rematch. And I saw a stat the other day. I had it for Friday's show. I think I threw the paper out. But the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup hasn't it been like 30 or 35 years, which, if you think about it, is crazy. That's crazy talk. Think about all the great teams, back in the old days with Wayne Gretzky and Edmonton, the Vancouver Canucks, who played the Rangers in the Stanley Cup Finals decade. I know I'm going back a long time, but Calgary's had some great teams. Jim Craig was their goaltender, for crying out loud. The goaltender of the Lake Placid Olympic Games when the USA beat Russia and beat Sweden for the state. I mean, Canada's had some great teams, right? The old Quebec Nordiques. Calgary, I mentioned. They can't win the Stanley Cup. Will this year be the year? We'll find out. They'll get going here in just a couple of days. Well, there was some sad news over the weekend. Sports science founder, do you see this? John Brinkus died Saturday at his home. His family announced it on social media on Sunday night. And you're saying, John Brinkus, who is John Brinkus? He won 6 Emmy Awards for his show that appeared on ESPN and Fox Sports Net. It was called Sports Science. Remember that show? Really cool stuff. I mean, really took you inside the science of sports and athletes and the way things happen. That show first debuted on Fox Sports Net. That's how long ago that was. That was back in 2007. It would later be moved to ESPN. But he had been battling depression for a long, long time, and he passed away over the weekend. So our thoughts and prayers with the family of John Brinkus, who passed away over the weekend. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, it's time to roll. On this day in sports history, that's next here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Hang out with us here on a Monday, 1310 WDPN.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Ready to roll on this day in sports history, June the 2nd. Can you believe it's June 2nd already? 1883, the first baseball game under electric lights was played in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Wow. On this day in 1959, the splendid splinter, Ted Williams, of the Boston Red Sox, got his 2,500th hit of his career. On this day in 1995, Hideo Nomo got his first Major League win. And on this day in 1996, Tim Belcher, the pride of Mount Vernon Nazarene, then of the Kansas City Royals, won his 100th career game. Boy, a lot of stuff on this day in history. Move your emotions a couple of times here today. On this day in 1935, George Herman Babe Ruth announced he was retiring from baseball. Here's the Babe on his farewell speech.
House that Ruth built. It was jammed on an April day in '47 when fans across the country paid him tribute. The great Bambino, who was sick now and dying of cancer at the age of 52.
So many lovely things said about me, and I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to thank everybody.
Sad day. Babe Ruth announced he was retiring and then would pass at a very, very young age. On this day in 1941, Lou Gehrig died in New York of the degenerative disease ALS. You'll never forget Lou Gehrig's speech just not before he would pass away as he delivered at the stadium.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. When you look around, wouldn't you consider it privilege to associate yourself with such a fine-looking man as is standing in uniform in this ballpark today?
Again, Lou Gehrig would pass away on this day in 1941. All right, some good news, some fun stuff here now as we transition. On this day in 1990, the big unit, Randy Johnson, his first no-hitter and the first in Seattle Mariners history.
The 0-2 pitch on the way. Swing! It's over! He has done it! High fastball, Randy Johnson being mobbed by Scott Bradley down to greet him and the entire Mariner team. Here on the 2nd of June, it ends at 9:51 Pacific Daylight Time.
That was Dave Niehaus, the longtime play-by-play voice of the Mariners. You heard all those fireworks going off there? That was when they played in the Kingdome in Seattle. The roof was closed. It didn't open, and they were shooting off fireworks, and why not? Randy Johnson got the first no-hitter in Seattle Mariners history. And finally, on this day in 2000, the crime dog, Fred McGriff, then of the Tampa Bay Rays, became the 31st player in Major League Baseball history to hit 400 home runs.
Greg's on his second for the Royals. Pitch to McGriff, swung on, hit in the air to deep center field. Way back goes Peyton to the warning track to the wall, and it is gone! Number 400 for Fred McGriff on a 1-2 pitch from Glendon Rush is a 2-run homer to dead center field, just to the right of the flagpole.
Fred McGriff, his 400th career home run. Tell you how long ago that was. They were called the Tampa Bay Devil Rays back then on June the 2nd, 2000. That wraps up another rousing edition of On This Day in Sports History. We'll take a break and come back after the news on 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 5:30. Some relief today for Newark Liberty International Airport. The facility has been plagued by communication blackouts, flight controller shortages, and a third runway that was shut down for several weeks because of repairs. All those problems forced the Federal Aviation Administration to reduce the number of landings and takeoffs, but the runway has reopened today, 2 weeks ahead of schedule. ABC's Jaysha Patel is in New Jersey.
It's been completely shut down since April 15th because of a $121 million project. That work included repaving the runway, and during that closure, the Port Authority worked with airlines to actually reduce flights during construction. So only 56 flights have been taking off and landing per hour here at Newark, but when construction ends, that number is expected to increase.
A 45-year-old man launched a fiery attack on demonstrators in Colorado who were calling for the release of Israeli hostages in Gaza, injuring 8 of them. Authorities say Mohammed Solomon made a makeshift flamethrower and hurled an incendiary device into the crowd in Boulder Sunday night. Officials say the suspect yelled "Free Palestine" as he launched what the FBI has called a targeted terror attack. Solomon was charged today with a federal hate crime and made an initial court appearance. In a surprise attack, Ukraine snuck in truckloads of drones across enemy lines, blowing up military air bases inside Russia. The coordinated drone strike hit at least 4 locations, crippling nuclear-capable bombers. The attack comes as delegations from Russia and Ukraine met in Turkey for the second round of peace talks. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge has more.
These drones smuggled deep inside Russia. Air bases attacked right across the country, from the northwest right across to the far east in Siberia. The drones smuggled in containers, and then Ukraine apparently having the ability to automatically lift the roof off these containers, and inside were dozens of drones packed in, charged with explosives, then the drones flying off and hurtling into these strategic bombers on the ground.
A split Supreme Court has rejected a pair of gun rights cases, though one conservative justice predicts the court will soon consider whether assault weapons bans are constitutional. The majority did not explain its reasoning in turning down the cases over high-capacity magazines and guns like the AR-15, which are popular weapons that also have been used in mass shootings. Justice Brett Kavanaugh indicated today he's skeptical that the bans are constitutional and said he expects the court to return to the issue soon. The decisions in cases from Maryland and Rhode Island comes 3 years after the High Court handed down a landmark ruling that expanded Second Amendment rights. It's 74 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance area weather forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For the remainder of your Monday afternoon, mostly sunny and a high around 72. Tonight, partly cloudy. Temperatures will dip to near 53. Tuesday, mostly sunny, a high near 80. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Got about 23 minutes left in the program. Phone lines are open to you at 330-821-1310. We've got Adam Parker, Jackson High School softball coach, coming up here in just a few minutes. Want to thank Perry softball coach Scott Daugherty for joining us earlier in the program. Of course, Al Palowski from Cleveland Guardians TV. Got a note here from Buck in Louisville. He says, Sam, I want your opinion here. Would you make this trade? If the Guardians had a chance to win the division at the trade deadline, would you trade Shane Bieber, Will Brennan, and a prospect for the Angels for Mike Trout, who's 33 years old and is in the midst of a 6-year, $210 million 12-year contract? Trout would be your everyday right fielder. Put him in the 2-hole in the lineup. American League is wide open. It would let teams know Cleveland is serious about making a big trade and a big run. How do you like this lineup? Our first 5 hitters: Kwan, Trout, Ramirez, Manzardo, Santana. I know you lose Bieber. Still, the rotation is solid. Plus, you got the best bullpen in baseball. Come playoff time, power hitting on driving runs hurts Cleveland every year. I'd have to. But you know what? Mike Trout can't stay healthy. He gets hurt. He's missed. I had that stat last week, and I'll just pare it down to make it easier math-wise. Out of the last 600 Angels games, he's missed 400 of them. What's the best ability? Availability. I can't trust Mike Trout is going to be healthy. Now I don't know what Shane Bieber is going to be like coming back from Tommy John surgery either. But just looking at this in black and white, would I trade Will Brennan, Shane Bieber, and a prospect for Mike Trout? Ooh, man, I don't know. That's tough. If you can guarantee me that Mike Trout would never get hurt again, I'd probably make that deal. Even at 33 years of age, I would probably do that deal. But again, Mike Trout's got to be healthy if he's going to be able to help me. But good stuff, Buck in Louisville. It's made me think on that one a little bit. All right, let's go to the 1310 WDPN hotline on this Monday afternoon. Let's talk a little Jackson High School softball. How about the Polar Bears rolling into the Final Four? Let's bring on their head coach. That is Adam Parker to the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN. Coach Adam, good afternoon. Congratulations. How are you this afternoon?
Thanks, Sam. We're doing great.
Good stuff. Now, I understand you had a practice today. How'd that go?
Went wonderful. We did a little bit of body maintenance. We did some yoga, did a little bit of, stretch out and just kind of got them back into things after a couple of days off, gave them the weekend off. So
now I was doing a little research, and I know you are really into this yoga thing, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been something that we've done as a team since I got here 3 years ago. Just really trying to improve, their just the grind that is softball for them, plus just this flexibility, helping with arm care, that type of stuff. So just a really great way to keep them, going all season long.
Well, it has certainly paid off for you. You are in the state Final Four. You will be at Firestone Stadium up in Akron this weekend. You'll be on the field June 7th, 5:30, as you'll take on Centerville in a semifinal. You're 21-7-1, a tie against Perry. That's why you get that tie on there. But, gosh, what an incredible year you have had playing in an incredibly tough league. Your non-conference schedule was very, very strong. How did you come through it this year, and what were some of the key aspects of your club and the way you've played all season long?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, I think that's a little off. We are playing at 3 o'clock and not the 5:30.
Oh, 3 o'clock. Oh, they got that wrong. Okay.
Yep. Just want to make sure all of our fans are out there and ready
You
to
got
go
it.
for us. Yeah.
You got it.
But, I think I want to start with Courtney Helly, our senior pitcher. She has done such an amazing job for us. Not just this year, but last year also. It's been just a rock. She goes out, even when we've been down, we've kind of been the comeback kids a little bit throughout the year. We go down a run or two and we find a way to fight back, but she doesn't get rattled on the mound. And I think it has a lot to do with the relationship she has with our catcher, who's also a senior, Mo Christopher. The two of them work so well together. They have a great plan. They come in, they execute that plan to a T. And that's what's really, pushes that piece just a little over the top. She's just one of those kids that is a workhorse. She's going to come in, she's going to give you everything she's got, and it's really paid off for us this year.
Coach, speak on the Federal League if you could, and how that prepares you for the postseason, because and I've heard so many coaches say it in all the sports, and I wholeheartedly agree. It's such a grinder. It can't help but get you prepared for what's coming up down the road.
Yeah, I think this year we had 4 district champions, and honestly, Lake was not, but they were one heck of a team this year. So you go top to bottom, and you're looking at these teams that we're having to play twice in a year, just that we're beating each other up. And this new format has helped us a little bit with getting multiple of our teams out of those districts, because we pretty much cannibalized ourselves over the years of, we would come in and we'd end up having to face each other in the sectionals or early in the districts. And it's really helping, the Federal League become even a bigger powerhouse than it already was. You look back and how many different, pitchers that are now playing in college, some of the hitters, and those types of things, you just don't see that day in and day out in a lot of these other leagues. And by far, well-coached teams, I got to give a lot of credit to, all my colleagues. They're, that you're going to go into a well-coached game and have to really fight through that entire league. And like you said, it's a buzzsaw. You're going to get your you're going to get your lumps no matter what. But it's a great way to get you prepared for a postseason.
Adam Parker is our guest. He is the head coach of the Jackson softball team. They're going to be in the Final Four coming up this weekend, 3 o'clock, the first pitch at Firestone Stadium against Centerville. Coach, I want to go back to the middle of May, just a tough little stretch of a couple of days, losing to South Range and losing to Canfield. But then you've been on a roll ever since with the wins over Whitmer, Findlay, Austintown, Fitch, and Perrysburg. What have you been doing particularly well here the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it was really kind of by design to play South Range and Canfield there at the end of the year. We knew that these, both of those teams were coming off of really strong years last year, and they've been perennial Final Four teams, state champions, different things. So we wanted to put ourselves to that test right at the end of the season. And what it did was it prepared us for those following games. And from there, it was a belief by my kids. I'll tell you, these young women are we always say bears on 3, family on 6. And I'll tell you what, they've become family, and they trust each other like family. When one thing goes wrong, it doesn't faze them, because they know that next person's going to pick them up. So it gives them that freedom to play a little bit more free because of those kids that they know are going to come back in and pick them up. Whether it's a defensive error or a bat that didn't go right, they have that trust in the next person up, and that next person up mentality has been really great for them.
Coach Adam Parker is our guest, head coach of the Jackson softball team. I'm not sure what the breakdown of grades on your team as far as sophomore, junior, senior. Did you have an idea coming into the year, Adam, that this could be a special year, or did this thing just kind of evolve as you went through?
I think it's a little bit of both. We saw some things last year that we knew were special. We have 5 seniors that have been just absolute, rocks for us throughout the year. They really had that belief in this could be a special team. It was going to just take a couple of little things that were going to put them over the top. One of the big things that they did and we did over the winter was we got together on every Friday, and we had a leadership series, and it was led by my seniors. They came in, they were had something that they wanted to talk about each and every week on what was going to make them that cohesive unit and how they can build. So on those 5 seniors, we have 1 junior and then a plethora of sophomores and 1 freshman. And I'll tell you, these kids just had that drive to want to be better every single day. And that started way back in the fall. They put in the work to be what they are. And I really, really believe, we saw that spark of special, and it took work to finish that spark and turn it into a flame. And right now they're firing on all cylinders, and it is something that's truly on fire right now.
I asked a couple other softball coaches and some baseball coaches over the last couple of weeks on the show about having to keep your teams sharp in the midst of all the rainouts and postponements and reschedules and things like that. Did you guys end up being able to play most, if not all, of your games? And how did you keep them sharp because of the rain that kind of hampered, trying to get into some kind of a groove throughout the last couple of months?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We took a bunch of rainouts early, and we went through a period. I think we played 6 games in 7 days at one point. And it was one of those things we knew we were going to go through a little bit of a grind. And that grind, I think, is kind of what brought them all together to the point of they were like, listen, we're hurting. We had a couple of little minor injuries here and there. And it gave them that I'm going to go pick up, my family member, my sister, and I'm going to go make sure that I'm going to do what needs to be done for them. So I think that grind that got, the weather put that big bulk of games right there. It really got us ready to go for this postseason.
Head coach of the Jackson softball team, Adam Parker, our guest on 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show. All right, once you get this far, obviously, Coach, everybody's good. You may not have as much information on your opponent as you would during the league or maybe a sectional or a district, but this Centerville team rolls in here. What can you tell us about them?
Yeah, we got to catch a little bit of their game on Saturday via video live. It was live streamed, and they're a scrappy team. They won 4-2, and what we saw out of them was they have a very solid pitcher on the mound. She's going to do her work, and we know that it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to come out and hit the ball by far. And their defense is solid. We've saw they don't boot the ball around very much. They are a very solid team across the board. So what we really know is not to ever look forward, just to play within the moment. And I think that's what we really are talking about this week is how do we play within the moment, stay within the moment. We've been the underdogs for the last 2 weeks, playing Perrysburg and Austintown Fitch. I mean, there's 2, just absolute softball powerhouses. And knowing that, that was what we were up against, you could go out and just play and play with an abandonment that was, let's just put it all out there and see how it goes. And that's how we've kind of played all year too, is put it all out there and see how it goes. And I think that's where we're at with Centerville, is just their very solid softball team that you're going to be in for a fight. And I think that's what our girls are all about, is let's go fight. Let's go fight and let's go do this.
The Centerville, by the way, comes in 17-13. They were 9-5, I believe, in their Greater Western Conference. I've seen some of the scores, Coach. They've scored some runs, 12. They've scored 9. They've scored 10. They've also had games they've given up a bunch as well. But at this point also, and you mentioned your girls getting ready, and you've been the underdog, and you relish that, having that target on the other side. You're chasing now instead of being chased. But now that it's at the state level, a lot of people are going to be in the stands. Are going to be hearing a lot of good luck and a lot of go get them leading up to it. Are you noticing? Are they ready for the big moment? Are they comfortable and ready to go?
I think they are, and the reason is, we talked a little bit about it today, is how to center all of that and kind of lose the outside noise. Is how do you lose the outside noise? The outside noise is just what it is. It's just noise. Once you're inside the lines, it's the focus. It's the visualization of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And at that point, it needs to fade away. And I think that they have a really good job of fading away all of that noise. Again, it's that comeback mentality. It's those things that we've done all year long, where you're down and it hasn't phased them. Again, I mentioned Courtney Helly. We have some hitters that come across the board. Maddie Moden, Emma Smith, another one of our seniors, our leadoff, who's just been outstanding for us, Gabby Williamson. These are some hitters that just don't get phased. They're ready to go at every at bat, and that ability to kind of focus and tune out that noise has made them really great at focusing on going after what the job is at that moment, and it's really paid off for us.
Well, Coach, we wish you nothing but the best. Have a great couple of days of preparation. All the best up in Akron, and hopefully we can talk to you maybe early next week about a possible state championship for the Jackson softball team. Thank you for coming on today, and best of luck this week.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and as always, go Bears. You
got it. There he goes, Adam Parker, the head softball coach of the Jackson Polar Bears, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show today on 1310 WDPN. I'll tell you what, I told you we got 4 baseball teams still cooking in the regionals. We've got 2 in the state finals for softball. It has been a banner year for Stark County, and let's keep it going. What do you say? We'll take a break. We'll come back and start to wrap things up here on 1310 WDPN.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
Weird, confusing, and at times, pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
And can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
for the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is 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 a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedSpace.org.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we are back for the final couple of minutes here on the program, 330-821-1310. You can also text the show anytime. We love getting your text messages at 330-924-7088. While you're at it, don't forget to go to our social media platforms, whether it's X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just search, type in AM 1310 WDPN or Q92 Radio Sports. You can like, share, and follow, and just kind of hang out with us here. What do you say? 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Sounds like a winner to me. Don't forget, start your day every day here on 1310 with Rex in the morning from 6 until 10, John Tesh from 10 until 3, and then we are in here from 3 until 6 with the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310. Thanks to my guest today, Perry softball coach Scott Daugherty, for joining us earlier today. Jackson head coach softball Adam Parker, and of course Al Palowski from the Cleveland Guardians, all guests on the program today. And if you missed any of those interviews, they will be up in podcasts around 7 o'clock or so, maybe a little bit before. You can go to 1310 WDPN Facebook page, and we will have those posted up there for you as well on the YouTube channel. So if you missed them, you can go back and listen to them anytime. Got about a minute to go. What's on tap for you tonight, sir? After that wild weekend of Dungeons and Dragons, what's coming up for you tonight?
The wildest weekend. Jesus, man. I got to tell you, I don't plan that far ahead. I'll get home and figure it out. I don't.
He's
I really
minute by
don't.
minute.
I live in the moment.
You live in the moment.
Truly. I really wish I could tell you, but I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to watch her play something.
Oh, okay.
That's all I can tell you.
What's on the menu tonight? Don't tell me.
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I'm
you don't
not
know
thinking
yet?
that far ahead at all.
Oh, wow.
I'll figure that out on the way home.
Wow.
Not even really hungry yet.
Okay. Well, if you're not hungry, you're certainly not going to be thinking about it.
No. I wish I could give you an answer, but I really just I'm working right now. I'm focusing on my work. So gotta get Phil playing over here before it gets too late.
All right. Hey, we had fun today. Thanks to all of you for joining and participating. Thanks to all the texters and the callers, and Buck from Louisville fired over a couple of emails today. We always appreciate that. Good to hear from you all. We'll be back tomorrow at 3. Big doings tomorrow. And we got by Wednesday, we'll be halfway home and getting ready for another big weekend. But big week ahead. Great weather coming your way. And spend some time with us here on AM 1310 WDPN. You certainly will be glad you did. Thanks to Ryan Rainsberg. Thanks to everybody for participating in the program today. Have a great night. Stay safe. Remember, go Browns, go Bucks, go Guards, go Cavs. Good night.